Hello everyone, we are glad you to enjoy our stream. Let me introduce you the hosts of today's event. Chris is a game developer based on Manu Video Game Maker engine. Chris, thank you for your time to participate in the event.
Hello everyone, I'm happy to be here.
Alexandra or Sasha is our marketing person whom we invited during her vacation. Sasha, how is going your vacation?
The vacation is always a great thing to do. Thank you so much. Hello everyone, nice meeting all of you.
And me, my name is Nikki Red. I am community manager of the project. Nice to meet you guys all. And so, Chris, Sasha.
Okay.
Thing to say. Thank you so much. Oops.
Yeah,
go
on, Sasha, go on.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. So, just one little thing I would like to remind you that you can ask all the questions in the chat you might have. At the end of the stream, we will make sure to answer each of them. And if there are some of those that we cannot answer right away, that might happen, but we will try to answer them during the stream, all of them. We will collect them, take some time, and post the answers in our Discord. Let's get started. So I'll pass the floor to Chris. Sorry for interrupting you. I'm going to mute.
Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. Let me show you my screen. And let's start by creating a new project. So let's create new. We are going to create a game together from scratch. So let's create a third-person game. I'm using the beta version, like everyone that has access to the beta. And let's rename our project something like, for example, demo live sky, something like that. And let's create it. Okay. This stream will be divided in two different parts. The first part I will explain a little bit, and let me make my my game in full screen so you can see better. And the first part I will explain you a little bit about the interface, and then I will show you a little bit some stuff and how we can create simple stuff, and then we will go into more advanced stuff. Okay. So what we can see when we open for first time Manu. You can see this is the Manu. This is the interface you can see, and Manu is divided in three different modes. The first mode is the edit mode, and in edit mode we can grab anything, move everything around. We can build our level. And in animation mode is the mode that we actually build our logic, and in Manu the logic is made through animations mostly. And the third mode is the game mode, and in game mode we can just test our game and play. All right, and to enable the camera control with the mouse, which many asked, we do this by hitting the backcode key. The backcode key is exactly over your tab in your keyboard on the left of your button 1. Okay, so let's enable this, and now you can see we can enable the camera and the character. Okay, let's this is it. So this is the asset tree. All your objects, all your assets will be here. Also these are the tools that we use for creating anything inside Manu, and I will explain you a little bit about these tools. These are all the primitive shapes, and you can see the rest of the primitives by clicking this little arrow, and you will see box, empty, sphere, all these available primitives. This is the Gameflow and the game and the state machine, and we are going to talk with these two about a little bit later. And here you can create animations. Here are the triggers, the colliders, the lights, just a brief description of what everything is. The speaker, the paint group, the backing volume, and of course this is the artificial intelligence that we can generate stuff. Okay, so also here is located various environment settings, general settings. For example, the gravity, we can change the gravity in our game. Here is the sky. There are you can change your colors. For example, let's make something like this and something like this, and you see we have a beautiful color, totally different from the default. And or maybe you can play with the colors a little bit or add your code here. This is the blending, so the bigger this value is, the more smooth the blending will be. So if, for example, type 0.1, you will see that the colors now is not so blended. So let me put this back to 0.75. Okay, so this is the sun, and the sun, all the settings of the sun are located here. We can adjust the height of the sun or the rotation, and you can just place this everywhere, anything you like. Okay, and of course with the sun we can adjust the intensity, and for example, if I type something 0.1, in this case we just made the level really dark, and also we can let's set it back to what it was, or you can change the color. So these are very basic stuff, but many people are getting confused with this. So we have fog. Just enable the fog, and you see we have fog and various options, different types of fog. You can play with it and see what everything does, or you can even change the color of the fog. Okay, let's disable the fog now. Of course, this is a new addition, the sea, and with one click we have a sea, and we can control the direction of the wind. We can change the color of the sea, like everything that we can color, and maybe you can make the sea have the waves of the sea have a bigger altitude, or it's more calm. And let's disable this, and this is the network. And when we enable this setting, pretty much we prepare the level to be a multiplayer or a cooperation mode, but we are not going to talk in details about this network yet. Okay, let's go back to our screen. Okay, let's see. What else? Okay, yes, let's see the camera. Okay, so when we click the camera, you'll see all these properties of the camera appears, and we can see what our camera targets by clicking this camera preview in the gizmo. Okay, and let's talk a little bit about the camera settings. So the camera could have a smooth speed, so how smoothly follows the target, and it has a 3D follow. So for example, if I disable this and I try to play the game, you will see that now I do not control the camera, but with my mouse I control the rotation of the character. Okay, let's go back to edit mode, and let's enable this again. The older versions of Manu, this target was predefined and it was set to follow the character. In this beta version, we have changed this and we set it to follow an object variable. Maybe this sounds a little bit confusing to you yet, but it will all be clear in a little bit later. So what this object variable is? Variable in general is something that we can store information. And if I go here to variables, this is just to understand what the camera is targeting. Okay, you will see this is an object variable, and we set our camera to follow a box, and the box is an invisible box over our character, just to understand what our camera is targeting. Okay, like this we can set the camera to target anything we would like. So in previous version, if we wanted the camera to target something else, we should go into an edit mode and manually set the target. But right now, with this option, we can change the target of the camera through animations, which means that while we are inside the game, we can set the camera to target something else. So we can make cutscenes easier, we can set it to follow a different target, or anything you can imagine. Okay. Of course, inside the camera, except of these properties and the variables, there is this post-processing button, and here you can see all the post-processing effects, like depth of field. Let me make this a little bigger. Depth of field. So, and I will not explain all these settings one by one. It will take a very long time, but you can imagine that what settings can we change. Okay, so where to focus the camera, or the chromatic aberrations if you want to create something very crazy, I don't know, or the bloom. One of the most important post-processing is the color, the gamma, the brightness, this color correction. So you can see you can change the gamma and a little bit more brightness, or a little bit more contrast, and a little bit more saturation. And of course, the new feature that we have added in Manu is this little button that says load LUTs. And for those who are not familiar with LUTs is a chromatic palette that, like a filter, a colored filter that we can apply and change the colors of the game totally. And it's very common when we are using it in photo editing and video editing, or in movies. And I will show you a little example how we can load this. So by clicking load, and we just import a filter, and now our game is black and white. Okay, and or we can even go a little bit more crazy with this and load something like this. Okay, and with just one click we load these LUTs, and we change the game and how it looks totally. Okay, let's go back to default. And of course, there is these ambient occlusion settings and the reflections. So let's continue how this game, and the most basic thing in a game is the character. So we can't have a game with this character. We are going to import our default. We are going to replace our default character. So how to replace a character, how to import a character in Manu? First of all, importing a character is really simple, and is just like importing any other object. So we go to File, and we go to Import. Okay, and here we are going to import a different model, Annie. Hello chat, meet Annie. This is Annie, and right now is just a simple model. It's not a character. So how we can convert this into a playable character? In order to, first of all, the first step in order to make this a playable character is to take Annie and import it inside this model folder. Okay, this model folder is the folder that hosts our model. So let's drag it in here and place it here. And now if we try to play the game, we will see that now our new character is falling everywhere, but it lacks of animations. And we are going to fix this right now. A good tip from me is when you are importing characters, is to move your new character a little bit on the left of the old. And so like this you can compare the animations of the old character and the new character and see if you set everything right. So to import animations, of course, as I said before, anything related with animations and logic, we should be in animations mode. So we switch to animation mode like this, and we right click in our new model and import animation. Okay, and in Manu we have to import every animation individually. So let's import, for example, death. This is the death animation, and if we play, we'll see this animation. And now, of course, you will notice that this timeline, animation timeline appeared, and I will explain a little bit what we see here before you get confused more. So here is the timeline, here are the controls that we can play pause, here are the items that are getting animated right now, and this is a model animation, which means that we have exported this from Mixamo or Blender. And if we click here, we see that we have some keyframes here that we cannot edit. If we want to import anything in this animation, we can do it by clicking this add object and import anything we want to animate here, or we can import some sounds, or we can create a local variable that we are going to talk about this a little bit later. And of course, inside this animation we can import other animations, so we have nested animations. Okay, and this is the trigger tab, and in this we can actually define the rules that will make this animation start playing, or the rules that this animation will stop playing. This is it for now for animations. We will talk about this in more details in a little bit. And what we are going to do now is we are going to import the rest of the animations for Annie, so we can convert it into a playable character. Okay, and like I did before, let's repeat these steps really quick. Okay, and you know, we are just oh no, not import. Okay, we are just repeating these steps, importing all the animations one by one. And if you want to know what animations, for example, my character should have, a good way is to open the old character and see all his animations. For example, let me show you. You see our character have these animations, and so we can say from Mixamo, let's import this. Let's find something like this for our character, and you will understand how we are going to retarget this animation in a little bit. So let me import this really quick. You know, all these animation run back and run forward and run back left, run back right. You know, all the available animations, so we have all we have every movement of our character covered. And back right, just import animations. Okay, and a slash for attack animation, and let's see what else. Strafe left and strafe right, and I believe these are fine for now. So this moment is a good moment to save our game, and Control S for Windows, or you can go here and save file. Yes, file save, and because you know it's good to always have this saved. So let's see now how to retarget the animation of our new model to our old model. So the default character contains a folder called animations for states. This is a really important folder because it contains a few animations, and these animations are not model animations. So we are not animations that contain model keyframes. These are animations that control the state of the character, not the character as a model, but the character as an object. and I will clear the confusion in a little bit. If we click on here, you will see that inside here there is a nested animation of our character model. So this is the animation of our character model, and in the triggers tab you will see some triggers that you might not understand yet, but I will just explain a little bit what these are. So when our character as an object is in idle state, then these will trigger this model animation to play. Okay, you don't have to understand this right now. At the end of the stream, these will make much more sense than right now. But just to know that these are state animations, okay, and animations that we have created inside Manu, not model that we have imported. Okay, so how to retarget now? Retargeting is really easy. We can just click this little plus sign, and here we click on that new track that we have just created, and navigate to our new model, and we add idle. Okay, so we are in idle, and this is the idle of our old character, and we have just imported the idle of our new character. And if we play now, we will see that both models are moving, are animating. Let me stop this for a while. And it's very important to disable this. So we don't want our old character's animation to keep playing, or you can delete it if you want. But it's a good practice until we finish this to have it in there disabled. Okay, and we will do exactly the same with the rest of these. We just disable this track and we import a new track, or you could just delete this. Okay, it's exactly the same. And we are now on strafe left. We will import our strafe left of our model character, and strafe right. And again, add a new track. Don't forget to disable this. So strafe right. And this is right forward. I will make this, I will do this somehow. Let's do this. What is right forward? Right back, right forward. So in any time if you get confused and you don't know if you have loaded the right animation, just enable this back again and just play and see that our character's animation matches. So we somehow are sure that this is the right one. So on the left, disable this, and left forward, forward to diagonal left, and walk forward. It's a straightforward procedure. Run forward and left, run back, and disable this, and run back. Oh, see, we did a mistake here. So let's say that we have imported the wrong animation, okay, like this. So we just delete and we import the right animation. So this is left back, so let's choose the left back. This is the right, so let's disable this and choose the right back. Right back, and walk back. This is the walking back. Okay, you see, it's just a little procedure that we need to be a little focused with this. This is turn left, turn left, and turn right. We will let it as it is for now. We will ignore it. We don't need them right now. And let's go to in air. So while the character is on air, we will load the floating like this, and jump double, and let's import the flip animation for our character. Flip, and let's see if it's right. Okay, ready for the Olympics. Okay, so this we done here. Now the next step to do is to actually disable this character, and or we can delete anything you like. I personally let them here for a while until we are sure that everything is okay. And of course we need to take Annie and move her back to the 0 position, like this. So of course now Annie is a little bit smaller than our old character, and we can change a few character attributes. For example, we can change the speed to something more slower, and these properties are located if you click on main character. The rotation speed, we can make her jump higher maybe, and this is the speed while she was in the air. These wall and crouch properties are not doesn't make any they are not useful in the third person template right now, because we are still making edits to the main character, and so it will be more expandable in the future. But you can play with this in the side scroller template. And of course, if we want our character to be able to jump while she's sliding, and the most important here is this little tag. This is a tag, and it's predefined as character. And why this is important? Because most of our assets in the marketplace are set to interact with this tag. Okay, so out of the box, most of our assets in the marketplace uses this tag, and you can import it in the game and work without any extra effort. Of course, now if we go to the physics tab, this is the physics tab. Okay, and we can see that this character has a collider, and we can adjust this collider to something that fits better. The character has its own gravity and mass. And of course, here are the variables for our character. And let's see a little bit about the variables. Of course, as I said before, these variables is something that store information. And if we click this plus icon, we will see that we can store the information about a number, a boolean, which means that an on and off situation, an object variable, so we can have a link to another object, any object, and a tag like the character you saw before. We will talk about this tag a little bit later. For now, let's create a number variable, and we can name it anything we like. I will name it health. We'll need this a little bit later, but just to show how we can do this. And any value we want, for example 100. Okay, and this tab is the network tab, so some settings are here that has to do with the multiplayer, and we are not going to focus on this yet. Just to know that this is the multiplayer, the network settings. And now if we play now, we'll see that we have a playable character that can walk like this and jump and double jump and go back like that and go back like this. Okay, and as you can see, there is an error here, and how we can debug this. We know that when we go back left, something is not working very well, and back to animation mode. And this is because we probably forgot to disable the old character animation. So if you have a similar problem, this is how you can locate it. Okay, so it's back left, and you will see this is not disabled. So now should work okay. So let me save really quick. Now let's start by adding a simple object in our scene. For example, this cube. Okay, so this cube, to move this cube now, I just click this. We can move it from the arrows like this or like this, or we can click this little square and move it anything everywhere you like, or in these two axes. We can also move this cube with snapping in the grid, and to enable the grid we just click this little number here, and now we have a grid of 1 unit, because this is 1. And if we move this, we know that our cube now snaps to the grid, okay, in any direction, doesn't matter. And this grid, of course, we can make it if we want bigger, like 2, by typing there 2, or we can make it smaller. Pretty much anything that is useful to you. Or we can just click on that, and now we have a grid of 10 units. So it's snapping there. And exactly the same is with the rotation. We can rotate this free. We can rotate it with snapping, okay, and in any action, or even with 9 degrees or any degrees you like. And if we go to the scale, we can scale this in this axis, or this axis, or this, or we can scale it all the way to all 3 axes. And all these properties can be changed through this properties panel, and we can manually set, for example, these to be here, and like something 0.75, anything you like, and the rotation, and we can adjust also the scale. Let's make it back to 100, and here 100, okay. And if we want to also change the scale in all 3 axes, we can also do it by enabling this little icon here, which is called constraint proportion. And now if we type here, for example, 150, we will see that this cube is scaled to 150. If we play our game now, we will see now that our character can just pass through this cube. And this is happening because this cube doesn't have any physics, any physical properties enabled. And in Manu, in order for our character to interact with anything, these objects should have at least somehow a kind of physical properties. Okay, so how we are going to enable the physical properties for this now? As we did before with our character, we are going to the physics tab, okay, and you will see this is set to no. There are no physics enabled for this cube. So if we click to yes, by default you will see that this cube now is set to static, and our character can jump on it and interact with this object, and collision events now can be generated in the collision between the cube and the character. Now let's see the different types of rigid body in these physics. Okay, so we can set it to ghost, and ghost means that the character can pass through, but still this cube has some physics properties, and so we can take collision events from this cube. Okay, just the character doesn't stop the character from passing through. It's ideal for creating, for example, when we want to open a door, or when we want our character to pass through a checkpoint, and you know, this is useful in these situations. Let's go to kinematic. I will skip dynamic for a second. And kinematic is exactly the same like the static. So our character can jump on it and have collision events, but the only difference is that with kinematic we can include these to animation and can animate it. If this is set to static, we cannot animate this cube through an animation. It's just for static, it's just to prevent a player to move to a different area, or just for the character to step on it. Kinematic means that we can animate this cube and we can do stuff through animations. So if you want to animate anything, this should be in kinematic. Now if we go to dynamic, you will see that this cube now has a mass and friction and bounciness, and if we play the game, we'll see that now the cube the player can push the cube in all directions, and the cube can rotate. Now a very cool feature is that we can lock this movement of the cube however we like. And so if we, for example, click on the x-axis, we are locking this movement, so we prevent this cube from rotating in x-axis or y or z, and let's lock the movement to z axis also. So now our character can push the cube, but the cube is not rotating, but she cannot push in this direction because we have locked it. Okay, so let's unlock this. Now in advanced, if we can set custom gravity, and this will ignore the general gravity of the project. So this cube has its own gravity now, and if we set something like very low, we will see that now the cube it's very light, and let's see, maybe we can make him fly a little bit. Let's see, come on, okay. So you see, it's like now the cube has very low gravity, and it's like being in a different planet or the moon or something like that. Okay. So this custom gravity is very good when we want to create projectiles. So if we set, for example, this to 0, now this cube doesn't have any gravity at all, and some settings here to play with, but the most important is that we can set this cube to have a linear velocity, and in x-axis, for example. Okay, so if I type here 10 and start the game, now you see that the cube just have a velocity at the start of the game. This is pretty much the most important settings about the physics. Let me set this back to kinematic for now. Let me load now a few models to help us build this level. To import these models, it's exactly the same like we did with Annie. We go to File and Import, and we can find the model that we want to import. In this case, I have prepared a set of models that I downloaded from Quaternius, and Quaternius is a really great artist that creates these models for free. You can check it, and if you can't support him. And a few other models I have just edited myself or make a few changes. Okay, just in case, let me say, for example, okay, just in case that you don't have the ability to find models or be able to locate something or anything like this, let me close the project for a moment. In that case, you can click on the download assets. Okay, and you are going to redirect in our marketplace, and you can download assets from here, and most of them have their own mechanics ready to use. Okay, just in case that you want more models to populate your level. So let me go back to the level really quick. Okay, and yeah, it's pretty much like this. Let me make full screen again. Right, so let's try now and take, for example, this island, which is not a cube, obviously, and has a different, very unique shape. Okay, if we try now to enable physics for this, let's see what will happen. Okay, enable physics, and like before, you see Manu is set by default this static, and Manu is trying to guess the best shape to cover the entire model, and but this is not good for us in this particular moment, okay, this particular example, because this is a very unique shape, of course. So what can we do about it? You see there are different colliders. Right now is in box. We can set it to sphere, or we can set it to a capsule, or anything from this that fits your shape better. And a very interesting and very useful, by my opinion, is this plane, which according to which axis you have this, it covers the entire map. So if you want to prevent player from going totally in one direction, you can prevent like this, or very useful when you create for example a death collider and you want our character not be able to go under or over a specific height. So another one is the convex hull, and what this does is to create a more detailed shape of a collider, but is a little bit simplified, but it's a little bit more it's a little bit better. So roughly is this shape, okay. An even better one is the triangle mesh, which is the most expensive also in for memory, so you should use this very carefully, but is the most detailed one. So if we try to play the game, for example, now, we will see that our character can jump on this island now, and you see the shape is almost pretty much accurate. Just to see this shape, this is another little tip. We can click on this icon and go to view and go to physics colliders, and now we just enable the physics colliders while we are in game, so you can see exactly the collider of this island, okay, and this is the cubes. So let's disable this for now, okay, and let's go back to our edit mode. Let's see, and now let's talk about a little bit about the materials. Okay, so this cube by default doesn't have any material, and how we can find these materials is by clicking this material tab while we have this object enabled, okay, and you will see that we don't have any materials. If we click on here, you can see some materials that are already in there, or we can click here and create our own material, and we can name it anything we like, something like cube, okay, and let's see the differences in these materials. So the most common one is the basic, and you see we lack some details with these materials because it's only for specific reasons. For example, I use it usually for the user interface, but let's see it. Let's add a texture, anything, it doesn't matter. You see this is just a simple texture, nothing too special, okay, and of course we can recolor it. Let me delete this for now. Let me make this white. So the next material is the glass, and the glass is one of my favorites, and you will see this cube now has this glassy effect, okay. Of course there are some properties you can play with here, like the roughness, the absorption of the light, or the refraction of the glass, the ambient, you know, all this, just to make it look how you want. About turbidity, you should be very careful with this, because this, what it does is to make the glass a little bit blurry, so you should use very small values for this, of 0 point something, okay. Let me go back to 1, and of course the chromatic aberrations, okay. You see this. Let me go closer. You see how we can break this light to these 3 colors. Now another material, I will skip PBR for now. Let's go to matcap. And matcap is a special material in every engine, and of course this needs special texture. So let me add this, and you will understand what matcap is for those who don't know. It's a very reflective one. Maybe let's load another one just to see this gold, and you see we just have this nice material just from this texture. And if you search the internet, you can see a lot of examples of matcap. Oh, actually, let me load this back again. Now this is one also of my favorites. It's the glow, and of course it make things glow. Okay, the good value is around 15. Okay, this is a good value to have it. Anything more than this, it make things too bright by my opinion. And of course you can have different colors again, and we will see this a little bit later also. Of course we can have, for example, in Bacic we can have this transparent, make it transparent. Okay, we can make it like this. Let's see, now let's talk about the PBR. In PBR we can import a texture like we did before, or we can click in this little square, and we can add here an albedo texture and an alpha texture and apply, and we can generate a texture that has some kind of transparency. But I will just import a texture now just to see. Okay, so just import a texture, and you will see this texture is just a simple texture, nothing fancy, nothing special. And how we can make this a little bit special, let's make this to opaque. And we can add normal. Let me do it again. We can click here and add normal. And this is a special also texture because it creates these little bumps here, if you can see. And if we boost this normal all the way up, you will see some the bumps are getting bigger, and this material is getting much more interesting and realistic. And of course you can import the arm, which this stands for ambient occlusion, roughness and metalness. So parts that we want to be more look like more metal. Okay, will assign more, and some have bigger roughness. And how we can do this is either by importing a ready texture, or again we can click this little arrow and we go ambient occlusion and import a texture for ambient occlusion, and import a texture for roughness, something like that, and import a texture of metalness. Most of these textures or the models in the internet are coming with either these roughness, metalness and ambient occlusion textures in it, so you don't have to find them. If you click apply, you see now we have a texture that is even better. And of course if we want something different, we can also apply with the roughness. You see how we change this, or make it more metallic, for example. Okay, and also we can add an emissive map. And the emissive map is again a very unique texture because it's all black, and only the areas that we want to emit light, these areas only has either color or are white. Okay, and right now you don't see any difference, and I will tell you why. Because this emissive is on 0. So if we boost this all the way up, you will see this part that is getting emits light. So if you want something to emit light in your models, you can just create an emissive map and import it here. And again, you can have any color you like. Okay, now about this tiling and offset, we will see it in a little bit, so don't worry about it. Let's make this basic for now. Let's delete this. So we have this, no basic, let's make it PBR and delete this. Okay, so we have this little cube here. So how we can animate now? Let's go to a little bit more advanced stuff. How we can animate this. In order to animate this, and of course we need to be in animation mode. Okay, don't forget that we set this to kinematic so we can animate this. Okay, so we click on animation mode and we find our cube, and we either right click and create animation, okay, or we just click this little button here and we create an animation. We can rename this animation anything we like, something like moving platform. Okay, moving platform, and you will see now that this familiar timeline now appears. So how to animate this cube now? To animate this cube, we should first import it into our animation, and to import it we can click this little button that says add object, okay, or we can right click the box and add to timeline. Most of the time I use it like this. So here is the box. Now let's animate it. To animate it, we click the plus sign here, and we see all these available properties that we can animate, not something that we cannot animate, okay, only those that we can animate. So in properties we can animate the position, the rotation, the scale, we can animate the material or the opacity or the color. For example, let's animate the color just for the example. Now it's white. We can click here and make it, for example, red, and if we click the play button, you see now the cube is animated the color. We don't need this for now. Let's go back, and we can also animate the physics. So we can have a kinematic object and convert it into a dynamic through the animation, or change the mass and the friction of the bounciness, or we can even enable or disable this cube. Okay, for now let's animate the position X. So when we import this position X in our timeline, we will see a keyframe is placed here. If we click this keyframe, we will see a value called origin. Now many people are getting confused with this origin, and they think that origin means the initial position of the cube. This is not true. Origin means the current position of the true. So you should be very careful with this, and if you make this clear, it will be easier. So origin means the current position of the cube, where the cube is located at this moment of the time. So if we want to move this cube 10 units, so somehow somewhere here, let's click on 4 seconds, for example, and a new keyframe is created, and now we can type origin plus 10. Okay, origin plus 10, and what this means is that we force the cube to move from its current position to a current position plus 10 units. And if we click play now, you will see that our cube is moving 10 units from its current position, not the initial, don't be confused. So as we are now, the current position of the cube is here, not here. Okay, this is the current position. So if I click play again, the cube moves another 10 from its current position, from here. And if I click play again, you will see the cube is keep moving from its current position. And if I go out of this animation, for example, click somewhere here and here, you will see that the cube in reality is always here, because this animation is not playing right now. So let's move the cube, let's make the cube move between 2 points. So let's click somewhere here and create a new frame, a new keyframe. So, and we will type here something like origin minus 10. So because we want the cube to go back. Okay, and before I click on play, let me explain what you are going to see. So the cube now, this is the current position of the cube. If we click play and the cursor comes here, the cube will be here. So that will be the current position of the cube. And then we set to animation to go 10 units back from the current position. So from here it should be go back. And we can enable this loop sign. So this means that this animation will play in loop. When it goes to the end, we will start from the beginning again. And if we play now, we will see that the cube it goes here and it returns back. Now this is the current position and goes 10 again and so on. Okay, so now how can we trigger this animation? How we can make this animation start? So in order to start this animation, we go to Triggers tab, okay, and we click this thunder. And this thunder, we can see all the available triggers, all the available options that we can start this animation from. If I click on launch scene, this means that this animation will start on the beginning of the game. And if I click, for example, this thunder again, and add a different trigger, for example, this key down, and now the game asks us to add which key we want to include here. So let's say Alt, for example. And now that you see this little OR here. This means that this animation to start, it can start either in the beginning of the game or if we hit the Alt key. So one of these two should be true to start this animation. But if I click on the OR, now we changed it and we made it end, which means that both of these should be true to start the animation. So both these and these should be true. And if I right click here and add not, this means that this animation will start playing as soon as this is true and this is false. So this should be true and not, this should not be true. This is what not means. Let me delete this for now. And other triggers include a collision event between two items, or an animation start or end, a different animation, or a state machine. We will see this a little bit later and you will understand. Or a comparison event between when comparing two values, or a different trigger, or a Gameflow, or an object. This is really important. When an object is on or an object is off, or even a network event. Okay, just a brief presentation of these triggers. I believe this is a good moment to save our game again. And if we play the game now, we will see that our cube is moving, and since it's kinematic, we can jump on the cube, and we have just created a small moving platform. Okay. Let me go here for a second, and let's see now. Let's see how we can animate something different. For example, this fire. Let me move this fire here. So this is a model of a fire. Doesn't look a lot like a fire, of course, but we will make it in a little bit. So this is a fire, okay. We can go to Materials tab, okay, and you will see this texture is like a cloud. There are some dark spots here, you can see it, and it's like a colored cloud, nothing too fancy. But why this is important? Now this is important because let's first make this glow to understand better, okay. And as I said before, this is too much, and so let's make it around 15, and now it starts looking more like a fire, okay. So why these dark spots are important? So when you want to do something similar with what I'm going to show you now, you should keep in mind that we should use a texture that it looks like a cloud, okay. So if we go to cutout method in opacity type, you see nothing changed now. Of course nothing changed because the intensity is 100%. But if I start moving this intensity a little bit lower, you see these dark spots are getting disappeared a little bit every time. So if I go to 0, you see nothing. So if we set this around 50%, you will see that these now have some spots enabled and some spots hidden. Now why this is important? This is important because here comes the tiling and the offset of the texture. Tiling of the texture means, of course, we have two different values here. The one is for the horizontal tiling and one is for the vertical tiling, and same like that, horizontal offset and vertical offset. And why this is important? Because the tiling is pretty much make the texture appears twice. For example, if I make this 2, appears twice in this model, 2 times, and 2 times for the vertical, or 3 times, or let's set this to 1. You will understand this a little bit later better with a different texture that I will show you. But the most important right now is the offset. So if I change these values to the offset, now we move the texture from the model left and right. Like we just drag this texture and move it outside of the model, but it's not getting disappear. We just move it its pivot point, something like that. So let me see if let me show you if I start playing with these values. You see that it's moving around. Okay, and these values can take numbers from up to 100, and the minimum one is minus 100. Okay, so we can go down to minus 100, and the max is 100. So keep this in mind. Let's make this 0. Now, why this is important? Because if I now play with a vertical offset, which is what we want now, you will see that the file starts animating now. Okay, the opposite one. It's like moving the different way. So let's do this 0 now. And this tiling offset are 2 values that we can actually animate it inside an animation. And that's why this is important. So let's go to animation mode. And because we want to work with animations, we should be in animation mode. And let's go down here to Fire and right click and create an animation. And let's rename this anything we like. Let's rename this anything we like. For example, fire animation. Something very unique, right? Okay, fire animation. And we go back to timeline. And like we did with a cube before, let's import our fire inside this timeline. Right click at timeline. And now let's animate the fire. But we are not going to animate the position. We are going to animate the material. So we can animate the opacity, the color, like I showed you before, or the tiling, or the offset, which is what is important for us right now. So let's add the offset V. And like before, you see this is the origin. Now the origin doesn't mean the current position of the fire. It means the current value of the texture offset. Okay. So origin means the current something of something. So if we click here, we can take this origin, the current value of the texture, and we can subtract like a very small portion, like 0.01. Okay, why so small? Because what is 100 in this texture that I showed you before? So for example, you see this is the 100 is the max value of this. Okay, what is 100 there? In here is the number 1, so the max inside this animation is 1, and the minimum is -1. So this is something that you should keep in mind. So this is can take values from -1 to 1. Okay, and so if I play, let's enable the loop, and if we play now, you will see that the fire is animated. Okay. Now let's make things a little bit more interesting. So we can click on fire, and we can go to variables tab, and let's create a new variable. As we said before, variables store information, and what information we want to store now? The information that we want to store now is a number. Okay, and this number, let's call it intensity. Okay, intensity. And this is the intensity of the fire. Right now, by its own, it does nothing. It's just a number, it's just an information that we store here. So let's make something like 5, for example. And now this is the intensity of the fire, it's 5. If we go back to our animation and of course we want to work with animation, so we should be in animation mode. And we can go back to our keyframe, and we can multiply this now by this variable that we have just created. And the key here is how to import this variable from here to here. To do this, we just add a dollar sign. So we click on dollar sign. Okay, and now we see all the available objects that we can import here. And now we should find our fire somewhere here. And in fire we should find this gray line that says variables and intensity, the variable that we have just created. But a more quick way to find this is to click on search and type intensity, or what is the name of your variable that you are trying to find. Okay, so now Manu has filtered all these results, and we can find this intensity very easily, and we just click on it. And now what we did is to multiply this animation with this intensity, this variable. And let's click enter. And now if we try to play the game, to run this animation again, we have created a small rocket. So let's...
I'm so sorry,
yes?
but we have a few questions from our users, and can you explain a bit these moments? The first one, does the character have a rig, or does it inherit the rig in the main character?
Yes, the main character has a rig. I will show you in a minute. Okay, if we click on the character and we navigate to the model, and we navigate to the model that we have just imported. Okay, this is Annie, and these are the animations that we have imported. Inside this you see this folder called armature, and armature is the rig. And since I have exported this from Mixamo, you will see all these bones, the hips, the spine, the legs, all these bones are in there. So it definitely has a rig, and this is how it works. Of course, in Manu, you can animate even the rigs if you don't want. It's not optimal, but let's say that you don't want, for example, the idle animation. Let me show you really quick. You don't want this animation that we have imported for the left arm. You can disable it. And now this animation will play without animating this particular bone. Okay. So yes.
And
yes, go on.
yes, and also, okay, the next one, how I can trigger an event with a click or a touch of the end project?
With a click. Right now, we don't. Manu doesn't support events with clicking. Okay, it supports only. It will be in the future, but not right now. So let me go to the moving platform to show you a little bit. So if you want to start an animation, an event with your keyboard, you set this key. Okay. And right now is only available with the key, not with click mouse buttons, and etc. But it will be available, not right now. Now it's not available. Now for touching something, okay. Let's say, for example, just to show you the example, let's delete this. And let's add a collision event. Okay. Although I was planning to show this a little bit later, but it's okay, we can also show it now. So collision event, when a collision started. Okay, a collision started means when a collision event happens between two objects that both has physical properties. If this object doesn't have physical properties, we cannot add this, it will not work. So it should have physical properties. So our first object that we want to detect this collision event is main character, because it has physical properties, and the second one is the box. So what I did right now is that the box is not moving, and it will start moving in loop only when our character collides with it. Okay, and now it will go forever. Okay, let me show you. And now the difference is that if I change this from a collision started, because collision started means when something started, it doesn't have to be in continuous collision. So if I change this to collision continue, now for this to work, our character needs to be in a continuous collision. So as soon I'm stepping on here, this will move. If I jump, it will stop. Okay, so it continues move, but now we have create something different. Okay, let me. Are there any questions about?
Yeah. Can you animate those material settings like that cutout? What if you wanted to trigger the settings to make something disappear or appear?
Yes, of course. So let me save before starting playing with this setting. So let's say that we don't want this animation to happen to animate this texture. So let's disable this. Okay, we can temporarily disable it, and we want to play with the opacity. I believe opacity, you said, right? Want to animate the opacity. So right now the opacity is origin. Origin means, like we said before, the current value of the opacity. The opacity, I set it to 50. So if I want, for example, to go origin minus 1 and I play now you will see it disappeared. Okay, so, and we can also make it something like absolute values, like not origin. So let's say 50 opacity, and we want to go to 100, and then we want to go to 0. Okay, opacity. So if we play now, you will see go to 100 and 0, and because it's loop, it's repeating this process. What was the second part of the question, please?
Everything. That's all.
Oh, that's
so
all.
Thank you so much for
Okay.
your answers. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Let's continue.
Okay, yes. Let me set this how it was. Of course, we can set a launch in here, and this will play. Oh, it's still a rocket. Okay. Let's change the intensity. I think that was I was doing. Let's change the intensity to something more realistic, like 0.2, and now you see it's more like a fire. Okay. So let's do something even more advanced. So let's take this platform, for example. Let's move it around here, and let's move it out of the group for now. Something like this. Okay, and let's have the same coordinates like the box. 4, what is it, 3? Just, it doesn't matter, the numbers doesn't matter. Okay, and let's take this box and move it out of the way, and let's say we want to animate this platform now. This is a very easy tip to fast prototyping. So like before, since this is a moving platform and we want our character to be able to step on it, this needs physical properties. So let's go to physics tab and let's enable physics, and now it's static. Static means it's static, we cannot animate it. So let's go to kinematic and if we go to animation mode again, and we find that animation that we have just created, the moving platform. You see here it says box, but we don't want to animate the box, we want to animate the platform. So a very cool trick is to right click, retarget, and we just find the model that we want to retarget it to. In our case, the platform. Okay, platform. And let's save, and we are done. Okay, we can delete the box. And if we play now, we have a moving platform that is a more proper one instead of the box. Okay, and it has exactly the same behavior. This is it for with the platform. So let's create something even more advanced now. Let me find this crystal. Now we will see how we can create a collectible. So let's move this crystal here. This will be our collectible, and move it up something like that. And all these changes happens in the edit mode, okay? Because the edit mode is where we build. So while we are in edit mode, let me also move this out of this folder, something like where. Okay, let's change the material first. So this is a very common crystal, nothing special with it. And if we go here and click on glass, we see without me doing anything or change anything, now we have a very interesting crystal for collectible with all these glass artifacts happening. Of course, now if we want to collect this crystal, our character collect this crystal, of course this crystal should have physical properties, else it will not, it doesn't matter else, okay, the player will not interact with it. So like we did before, we go to physics and we go to physical and make this yes. And now our crystal has static properties, okay, and we don't want to be static because we don't want the character to be able to step on the crystal, but we want our character to be able to pass through the crystal so she can collect it. So we change that to ghost, okay, and since it's ghost, it's still we can still have collision events from it. And let's change the collider shape to something like a sphere. And this is ready now. It's ready to do stuff with it. Okay, let's create an animation in animation mode like we did before. And again, right click, create animation. And let's make this animation and call it like a hover. Okay, and we first we are going to create a hover animation for this crystal. And like we did before, exactly like we did before, we add this crystal to the timeline. Okay, and in this case we want our crystal to go up and down, so we add the position Y property. Like we did before, this is the origin, means the current position of the crystal in the Y axis. So let me add the keyframe around here, for example, and let's make this crystal go up by 0.5 units. And let's make this crystal go again down by origin minus 0.5 units. Okay, it's exactly the same result. Let's enable this loop so it works continuously looping. And another one that I forgot to mention before, if we click this origin, this keyframe, you will see there is a transition effect here. And if we click on linear, you will see some various interpolations. So if we click this, means that we don't have interpolation, or we have a linear interpolation, or we have an ease interpolation. And if you want even more interpolations, you can hover over more and you can choose anything, it fits your effect better. For now I will choose ease and enter, and I will do the same here, and I will make ease, and I will tell you what this does. And we don't have to add an ease interpolation here because this is the last keyframe, so the interpolation is between 2 points here and here and here and here. And if we play now, we will see that our crystal has a more smooth movement. And to make it more interesting, even more interesting, we can add rotation Y, and the rotation Y again is origin to origin plus 360, but now we are referring to angles, to degrees, to angle degrees. Okay, if we play now, we have created a nice crystal with all these colors. Okay, and now how we are going to trigger this animation. Let's go to triggers tab, and we will add a different trigger this time, the object enabled. So what this trigger does is when the object gets enabled for first time, or it gets disabled, or is continuously enabled, okay, which is what we want. So as soon as this object is continuously enabled, this animation will be triggered and will play. The moment that this object stop being enabled, so will be disabled, this animation will stop. Of course, we need right now it says no object, so we need this reference to this crystal. Okay, and now this animation is done. So let's create another animation now. Again, create animation, and let's rename this to something like collecting. Okay, and we import the same crystal again to the timeline. You see the steps is pretty much the same. And what we are going to do here is we want our character to be able to collect this crystal. And how we can collect this crystal is first we are doing the effect of collecting it, and the effect is the crystal should move from its position and go inside our player and get really small and disappear. Okay, how we can do this? So first of all, let's add properties for position here, position X, position Y, and position Z. I'm just adding properties, okay? And let's also add scale X and scale Y and scale Z. And all these are set as the previous animation to origin. So let's go around to 0.6 time, and we create a new keyframe. And here we are going to type a special function, and to find this function we will type get, okay, get, and we'll see all these available functions that give us information about something. So let's continue typing get global to filter these results, and we are going to choose get global position X. Okay, and what this function does is to give us information about the coordinates in the x-axis about an object, any object. And to do this, we first need to define which object are we referring to, and we should type it inside these two parentheses. How to define this object? Like we did before, we will type $sign, okay, $sign, and now we can see all these available objects, and we will click on main character. Okay, so now this function will find us the exact position or in the x-axis about the main character, and click enter, and we will do the same, exactly the same like the position y. So we do again get global position y this time, okay, and again $sign and main character, but we are going to add one unit here because the pivot of this character is down here on the feet, and we want to go around the face or the head. And let's click enter, and exactly the same with the Z axis, get global position Z and $sign again and main character, and click enter. Okay, and now we want the crystal to get really small. So from the current scale, which is origin, it doesn't matter. Origin means the current scale at this time. We want to make it 0, and 0 is for the scale Y, and 0 is for the scale Z. Okay, so we had a small crash here. Okay, let's start this again. Okay, you know this happens when you work with betas. Let's see, that's why we need to save it regularly. Okay, let me see here, view and full screen. Okay, so we are back. We have to do this this crystal again. It's okay, we'll do it really fast this time. And maybe it's a good repeat just to see it happen again. Let me change the material and to glass, and let's go to animation mode. No, let's add physics first. Physics, ghost, sphere. Let's go to animation. Let's drag this. Let's drag this crystal out of this group, and here, and let's create an animation. We will call this hover. So it's like deja vu now. Hover. I spelled it wrong. Hover, and let's add this to the timeline, the crystal, you know, exactly the same thing that we did before. And we go around here, and let's go origin plus 0.5, and let's go here and origin minus 0.5, and we loop, and let's add rotation. The rotation should be origin plus 360. Okay, that's just the same things exactly. And this should start when the object is continuously enabled. The object that we are referring to is the purple, the crystal. And let's save this time, just to be sure, better sure that, okay. Let's create another animation. This will be the animation that we were working, so let's rename this to collecting. Okay, collecting, and we are going to add the same crystal again, add to timeline, and again the same properties, position X, position Y. After that we will know very good how to create a collectible. We do it twice, so let's go scale Y and scale Z, and we go to 0.6, get global, and now you can see how fast someone that knows a little bit of the engine, how fast can do some stuff, how fast it is to create simple stuff. So let's go to, we want to track our main character, and let's go here and let's type get global position Y, and we are referring to our main character, and we add +1, and let's type here get global position Z, and we are referring to our main character, so $sign again, and main character, enter. Let's save again, just to not do it again. So 0 here, and 0 here, and 0 here. Or let's save this again. Okay, and now of course the crystal is getting really small, but is not getting disappear. So to make the crystal disappear, I believe that was part of your previous question, Nikki. And so we can click on here and click enabled. So what this does is to make the mesh or this object to disappear. So from yes, we click and we set it to on, to off. So right now we have just make this crystal disappear, but we also need to disable the physics. We want to do this on the first moment of this animation on position 0. Okay, and to disable this, we go to rigid body enabled. We add this property, and we set this to off. And we want to do this because we want our character to only touch the crystal once, so we don't have multiple collision events with the crystal. Just to make things a little bit more interesting, we can add a sound, for example, and we can go there and we can import a sound that we like. So open, and now if we click this, you see that the crystal goes in the character. We will see this in live. in gameplay in soon. So how we can actually trigger this animation, like we did before with the collision event that I showed you. We are going to create a collision event again, and collision started. Okay, the collision event is between two objects, the main character and the crystal, and they both should have physical properties. Even ghost is a physical property. So let's go to main character as the first object, and the second object should be this crystal. Let's save this, and let's see how it looks this in game. So you see the crystal is going up and down, and it's rotating, and when our character passes through, the crystal disappears and get in the character, and we have collected. But right now, this is just a visual effect. We don't see this information of how many crystals we have collected, or how we can see this information. Okay. So a little tip now is to go this to crystal, and we are going here to add a tag, and I will explain you why. The tag is pretty much a way that we can group similar items together, that we want to have a similar collision event. I will explain you in a bit, and it will not be so confusing. So let's see first how we can create a tag. We click here and we type any name we like. I will name it crystal. Okay, crystal, and we hit enter, and now we have a tag called crystal, and we can also make it a different color just to be easy to find it here. Okay, so we can add this tag crystal in any item we want. So you see the crystal is here. Okay, and why I did this, you will understand in a little bit. Just for now, you should know that that this crystal has this tag. Okay, crystal. So how we can see how many crystals we have collected? Okay, first of all, we should create a variable, and the variable, as I told you before, is something that we can store information, and we want to store this information of how many crystals our character has collected. So let's go to our main character and go to variables, and exactly like we did before with the health, we are going to create a new variable, and we are going to call this total crystals, for example, total crystals. Okay, something like that. Total crystal. Okay. Right now is 0 because our character don't have any crystals collected yet. But we have this variable, so we know where to store this information. Okay. What we are going to do now is to go and create a new animation. Okay, a new animation here inside our character, but it could be anywhere. It doesn't matter, just for organizing things. And we are going to call this tracking. How to call this tracking crystals. Okay, anything, it doesn't matter. So tracking crystals. So what we want this to track? We want to track the total number of the crystals that we have collected. And to do this, first we want to see how we can increase this number, this variable number, the crystals, from 0 to 1. Okay, so we are going to import our main character here, and we import our main character because the variable that we have just created is inside our main character. And we click this sign, and now we can animate variables. Okay, you see we have available option variables, and we find the total crystal. Okay, and right now it says origin, and origin means current value. So current value is 0. So we want to increase this value by 1. So we hit +1. So anytime this animation plays, this variable will be increased by 1. So we have 1 crystal, and 1 crystal. And in triggers tab, now this is why we have created this tag, this crystal tag. We are going again to add a collision event, collision started, between our main character, which has physical properties, But instead of adding the crystal, imagine if we had 50 crystals, we had to add 50 crystals here, 50 events. So we don't want to add 50 events, we want to add only one event. So we check now the collision between our main character and anything that has the tag crystal. Okay, so anything, anytime our character collides with something, anything that has this tag crystal, this animation will play. So we make sure that we include this tag only to crystals, okay? Because otherwise I will just collecting crystals just by touching objects. Okay, so, and we save this. Okay, like this, we save this information. Every time that this character collides with a crystal that contains this crystal tag, this animation will play and will increase this variable by 1. And now we need to see how we can display this information on our screen, because right now we don't know. It's we know we have collected 1, but we can't see this information. So right now Manu doesn't have a proper user interface feature, but this is something that we can create just to see how things works, and sometimes works really well. So let's let's add to our scene a simple plane in the primitives, simple plane. Okay, and we will move this plane a little bit here, and we are going to add a new material and create a new material like we did before, and we will call these numbers, and we will disable these shadows. We don't need these to cast any shadows or to affect it by other shadows. And we are going to set it to basic, and we are going to add a texture, and for this we are going to add a special texture that contains numbers. Okay, might be confusing right now, but you will see in a moment. Let's make these, let's update this to -90, and let's make this a little bit bigger just to see the numbers. Okay, so this is our texture. It's our texture that contains all these numbers from 9 to 0, and this texture is special because we have created like this to be divided into 10 equal parts, 10 equal pieces. Okay, every piece is exactly 1/10 of the total texture size. Okay, and why this is important now? Because now if we go back to our material and we change the opacity type to cut out like we did with the fire, and we start moving this a little bit down, you will see now we cut this white area, or you could include something that has transparency. It doesn't matter, just to show how it can be done. Okay, so we moved something like that, and now of course it's very easier, much easier to see these numbers. And now if we play with the tiling like we did before, now it makes more sense, the tiling. Okay, so we can have 3 rows, or we can have 2 lines or 3 lines, but exactly same way that we go up, we can go down. So if I type 0.5 now, not 5, 0.5, now we have half the numbers. And if I type 0.1, now we have only the 1/10 of this texture. Okay, and of course now we can set this back to 100, so we see we have a nice 0 here. Okay, and now the tiling, the vertical tiling, now makes more sense, because if, for example, we move the horizontal tiling, you will see that the 0, it moves like this, and it's still 0 because we are moving the horizontal tiling. But if we move this vertical tiling, now you will see we have 1 when this is 10, and now we have 2 when this is 20, and so on. And now we can change these numbers according to this offset value. So, and we know from the fire that we can change this inside an animation. So let's move this little plane. Let me save also. Where is? Let's rename it first to something like numbers user interface. And let's click and drag here all the way up to our camera. Okay, and our camera here is here, and this plane is here. We need to make it to bring it here. So let's select this number, and let's make these all zeros, and the rotation 0, and now our plane is here. Okay, but the camera is targeting there, and this number is facing there, so we also need to rotate this to face the camera. So let's make something like 90, and we can adjust the position a little bit, like 0.15, make it up, or minus 0.45, and of course now it's really big and we don't want to be like that. So we can enable the constraint proportion again, like we did before, and we scale this to 1%. Okay, so now this is now you will think that this is really small and this is really small. Okay, so but it's there. Okay, of course this is not the optimal way to create interface. We have a better version of the interface in the marketplace, and you can download and import it to our game, to your game, and it's with very minimal settings. But just to see how we can manipulate this texture offset through animations. This is just this example. Okay, but the number is here now, and now we will see how we can pass this collecting crystals information, how to pass it in the texture. Okay, so let's go back to animation mode, and we create a new animation. It doesn't matter where, it could be here just for organizing things, and create animation, and we are going to rename this to something numbers user interface, anything. Okay, it could be anything. Okay, let's go here, and we import this this plane here to the timeline, and we click like we did with the fire, and we are going to animate the material and the offset V. But in this time we are going to delete this origin. We don't want the current position, but we want an absolute value of our variable. So let's import this variable in here, the crystal collect variable. Okay, so $sign again, and if you get confused, don't worry, I will show this again. And we go to main character, and we find the variables, and this is the variable that contains this information about how many crystals we have collected, and just place it here. And because we want the 1/10 of this texture, I will multiply this by 0.1. Okay, because we want the 1/10 of this, and we loop this again, and we want this to play in the beginning of the game and play forever. So now if we actually let me duplicate this crystal, so we have 2 crystals at least. Okay, let me duplicate this, and I will drag this crystal around here, and you see this crystal also contains this tag now, so we don't have to do anything. And now if we collect the first crystal, you see this goes back to 1, and the second goes back to 2. Okay, because now this information is passing to this number, to this plane. Let's see now. Now let's to continue in more advanced stuff. We can create a level. So let's disable this default floor for now, and we can hide it. There are 2 options if you wonder what this eye is. We can hide it in edit mode, but it will be here in game mode, and we don't want that. Or we can totally disable it. Okay, so or we can delete it. It doesn't matter. So let's create a small level now. you know, just duplicating stuff here and there. Let's move this here, for example. You know, a small level with anything you like with these items. Of course, this also contains physical properties because we just duplicate it. Maybe we can also make it not be so shiny. Let's add a little bit of roughness. Okay, you know, we can just adjust things here and there. Let's also go take this platform, and this platform right now is just a model. If you guessed it, so we should also apply physical properties to it. And static is good because it's not going to move or go anywhere. And let's duplicate this again. And you know, just your imagination, and you build a level. I will just build a level with platforms and stuff like that. Let's duplicate. Let's move it a little bit around here, maybe. And don't forget to save, okay, regularly. So let's create. Let's take this cloud, for example. You see, this cloud is a very unique shape, so we can't have we can't have this static collider shape. So we go for a convex hull or triangle mesh. Let's go for this for now, but you should be careful with this. And let's rotate maybe 100 degrees and 80. And let's put like here. And we can also change the material to something like transparent, and let's add a little bit of transparency and a little bit of roughness. And you see, just it's just a little bit transparent. And this cloud also has something special. If you see this texture, I have created intentionally like this, so it has three different colors: the yellow, the blue, and the gray. Because like this, with a proper texture, we can animate the horizontal tiling and the horizontal offset, like we did with the numbers and the fire. And if I set this to 1/3 of this animation of this texture, so something like 13, now you see it's blue. Okay, these clouds are blue. And if I set it to 66, for example, this will be gray. Okay, because we now moved this offset here. Let's take it back to 33, for example. It's nice and colorful. I hope Annie can jump on there. Okay, let's take another cloud. You know, you just building. Also, if you have any questions, since this is a little bit of I'm not so focused on that, you can also ask them now, and we can answer them. So let's make this triangle mesh, and let's add a little bit of rotation, like this, and we can also duplicate this platform that we did before. Duplicate, and let's move it like something here and here. Just a small interesting level for our player to have some nice levels to jump on. And duplicate, and let's move it here and here, and maybe around here. Let's align it with the platform. Now also at any time we can enable this snapping, for example, and these platforms are made exactly to snap each other in the exact size. So if I duplicate, for example, this, you will see now it's that these platforms are snapping together very nicely. So like that and like that. Okay, you see something like this, for example. And let's disable this, and we can also add a different platform. And these models also, we are going to share this with you, so you can watch the stream again and repeat the same steps we did, and you have access to the same models. So you know, just a little bit for practice. So at any moment, if you think you don't like, for example, this material, you can make it a little bit more roughness, and maybe we can make these windows glow. This is too much, around 15, as we said before. It could be anything, but I'm just make them around 15. And these platforms should be static. We don't want to move. This shape is just fine with us. Okay, now another tip is that if you don't want to see this collider in your edit mode, and this collider we can see this because this is a group and not a model. This is a group of models. So anytime we can just hide it from the edit mode like this. Okay, but the collider will be there and in both the game and the edit mode, just hiding it. Let's save. It's a good practice, and let's duplicate maybe this. And you know, we can add it like that and move it here. Okay, and let's maybe rotate this 90 degrees. You know, anything you want. Now this is a challenging model, and I put it here just to show you something that a problem that you might face when you are trying to create a level. And so you can see this is a bridge that has this unique shape, and we cannot just go to the group and add physics, because now it's not a bridge, it's just a cube. Okay, and of course the group cannot make this group as triangle mesh, because this group doesn't have a mesh. Okay, the group, not the model itself. So we are going to disable this physics for now, and we will go inside this group, and we will find these planks, and we are going to enable our colliders in here. Okay, not in the group. And of course it's still a cube, so but because it's a model and not a group, we can now enable triangle mesh or convex hull, for example. And let's duplicate this island again. And now you see this is a very common error that you might make, a common mistake. Instead of moving the model, we have moved the collider. So let's Control Z and undo this action, and we can go to our model and now move the model. Okay, so if we do something like this accidentally, you should know what happened. Okay, so let's rotate this, for example, like this. Move here and here and here. You know, we just anything that is interesting for you. Maybe we can make this like 100, a little bit bigger. Okay, and move it around here, and let's grab another platform maybe. Okay, since we promised to build a game for this stream, so let's build a small game, 150, and let's enable physics to this, static again. You know, I'm just doing this a little bit faster because it's exactly the same steps that we did to the previous part of the stream before. And now let's go to a little bit more advanced stuff. let me create this small island here and move it like this first. Maybe something like that. And we want this to be, let's see, can the character jumps here? It should be. Let's make this around, for example, 200 or 250 maybe. Now if you wonder why it scaled up in all axes, it's because this is enabled. Okay, constraint proportion. So don't be surprised why. Okay, so in order to create, now we are going to create something like a little quest or a small difficulty that our character has to pass in order to proceed in the next part of our level. Okay, let me add some obstacles here and let's make this 150 and move it like this, and let's rotate this like that. Okay, let's move this up a little bit and move it out here and enable static physical properties again. We want to be static. Let's hide this collider from the edit mode for now, and also don't forget to save. Okay, let's duplicate. Let's move it around here, and we are going to create something, a small area that our character should do something to gain access. And let me grab this door, this gate really quick, and move it here and here, and let's make this 150 also. Okay, let's make it 150, so it's a small gate, and move it 90 degrees, you know, something to prevent our player from passing through. So let's put that here and that here. Okay, so our character should pass through this gate to go to the next part of our level. This gate doesn't have any physical properties, but if I will enable this now, it will just cover the entire gate, and we don't want this. So another good way, let me move this up a little bit. So another good way to prevent player from going to the other side is to just inside this gate, for example, inside we can add just some colliders by clicking here in the colliders, and this is by default ghost, and ghost means that the character can pass through, and we don't want the character to pass through. So let's go to physics tabs and make this static. Okay, it's just an obstacle that our character should not be able to pass through. And scale it like this. If you wonder how to do this, okay, you should go this little icon in the gizmo, which enables these dots. Okay, and we can drop this dot and move it anywhere you like. Let's make this a little bit thinner, and like that. Okay, and this is just a collider. Let's duplicate this, and let's grab the second collider. Let's move it here, and let's duplicate this, and let's grab it and move it like this, and up a little bit, so our character cannot jump over it. And it's not the best practice just to create fake walls, but for the demonstration purposes now it's just fine. And of course we are going to hide this from the edit mode, okay, just to have a clear view of what we are doing. And now we click on the door, and the door, we want to animate this door so our character can open the door and pass through. So we go to physics tab, enable physics, okay, and we want this to be kinematic because we want to animate it. Okay, so now we have a door that has kinematic physics, and we can animate it. How can we animate it? We can go to animation mode and create a new animation. like we did before. Okay, in this animation, let's rename this to something open door. Okay, and we're going to import the door in our timeline. Okay, and we want to animate the rotation Y. So this will open. Like before, this is the origin, and and we can click somewhere here and say we want this door to move from the current position, origin, okay, to 90 degrees, and that's it. And let's also add some easy interpolation. Let me save. And now, if that was just a simple door, normally what I would do is to go in this gate and add another collider, and let's add this collider, let's rename this collider to something like entrance. Okay, entrance. And I will move this collider somewhere here, and maybe scale it up a little bit like this, and move it in front of the door, and up here. And in a normal situation, we would create a collision event, a collision trigger between our character and this entrance collider, and we will trigger that open door animation, and the door would open. But we don't want to do this because we want to learn a little bit about more complicated, more advanced stuff. Okay, but we will add this collider here because it's going to help us. So what we want to do now, we want to add a state machine. Okay, just click here, you will see state machine. Let's move it here just for organizing things. We can rename the state machine to something like door state machine. Okay, this is a little bit more advanced stuff, but if you get confused, you can go back to the recorded stream and you can watch it again, or feel free to ask me now what you want, but it will be really easy and clear in a bit. So we just double click this door state machine and you will see this window. Don't worry, everything will make sense in a little bit. So what is this state machine? This state machine is a tool that we create custom states. Okay, we don't create animations, we create custom states. So one state, for example, first of all, this blue icon means that this is the initial state, and when we start the game is in this state. Okay, so this state, what this state could be. This state is, for example, let's rename it. Names doesn't matter. Let's name it locked. So this first step is the door is locked. Okay, don't get confused. This is not animations. This is the logic, the states. So this door is locked. When we start the game, this door is locked. So this is the initial state is locked. Let's add another state. Another state could be the door is unlocked. Okay, and let's make, for example, this give it a nice color, and this make blue. Okay, and just we can just add another state, and another state is that the door is now open. Okay, so this is 3 states. We will see this a little bit later, so we will move this there for now. And how we can, let's make this green, how we can build a logic with this state machine. So first of all, we need to connect these each other. So we go here in the connector and we click here and drag to the next state. So from locked to unlocked, and we click here to unlocked and we go to the open state. So from unlocked to open. Okay, so now we have just connect these together. There is no any functionality, no any logic yet. We just connect it. So now we have to understand how we want to make the game and push and jump from the locked state to unlocked state, which means which are the rules that we want to make this door be unlocked. And one very easy rule that we can add here is by clicking on this connector. And you see this is the familiar timeline trigger thing you had in animation. And we click in the thunder and we see all the available triggers that we had inside the animations. Okay, it's exactly the same triggers. So for this, to build this logic, we need a comparison event. So I will tell you what a comparison event is right now. So we're going to click on result is true continue, and we're going to click on more or equal. Okay, more or equal. And what this comparison does is to compare two values. So if these two values are true, the comparison of these two values are true, the game will jump from locked state to unlocked state. Okay, only we are don't get confused. We are only talk about the states. So let's add our first value here. What we want to compare. Let's type $sign again, and we go to our main character, and we go to the variables, and we locate the total crystals. Okay, and click enter. So now we want to compare the number of the total crystals that the character has. And let's type here 2. So if the character continuously have 2 or more crystals, then the game will jump from the locked state to unlocked state. Okay, this is just the states. And in a few, we will connect this to animations. And now the door, now let's say that our game is in the unlocked state. So how we can jump to open state, so to open the door, right? We click here again, and we create this time a collision event, collision started. And the first object that we want to add here is the main character. And the second one is this green collider that we have named it entrance. So let me do this really quick and I will explain you the logic. So because this collider is somewhere here and it's very difficult to find, so let's type here entrance. Okay, entrance, and Manu is filtering the results, and we find the entrance collider. That's why it is important to give names that you can remember. And this is it. The statement is finished. Okay, and let me explain you a little bit the logic now. So when the character approaches the door, cannot pass because the game is in locked state. Okay, so but if the character has 2 crystals or more, we are in the unlocked state. And if the character has these crystals and we are in the unlocked state and starts colliding with this, then the door will open. But right now this is only the logic. We didn't link this logic to the animation yet. So how to link this? Let's go to open door animation that we have created before. This is the animation. If you don't remember which is one, and we go to triggers in this animation, and we add a new trigger. And now we want an event that has to do with state machine. Okay, here is where the state machines are used. So let's add this state machine, and the game asks us which state machine you are referring to. The game doesn't know, so we find this door state machine that we have just created, and now the game asks which state you want to open the door, which state should be started to play this animation. Okay, and this is the open. Okay, so when the game jumps from unlocked state, let me show it to you. When the game jumps from the unlocked state to open state, then this animation, that animation will start. Okay, and will open the door. So like that. Oh no, don't want to play yet. So like that we can build a little bit more advanced logic. So just to test things a little bit up, let me grab our character. or maybe let's grab these crystals, and it will be a good yeah, let's move these crystals around here, or we could duplicate them, doesn't matter, just for testing purposes. Now I will just move them. Okay, let's move these crystals here. Let's duplicate this. It's easier like this, so we have 2 crystals. Okay, and we are going to move our character from here to here. Let's put it here just to test this logic. Okay, let's save this and let's play. So now our character doesn't have any crystals, so if we try to go through the door doesn't open, because the state machine is on locked state. So to unlock the door, we need 2 crystals to jump from the unlocked to locked to unlocked. So let's collect 1. The door still can't open. Let's collect 2, and now we are in the unlocked state now. So if I move to that invisible trigger, the door should open, and the door opens. Okay, so this is just like a small quest, or a small requirement to move to the next, to make a level and force the player to move to the next area. Okay, to prevent the player from moving to the next area. So right now let's disassemble this island. We are going to make a little bit even more complex logic, and we can make this something like 350, a big area. Okay, and let's move it like that, so Annie can jump on there, and maybe we can also make it a little bit more beautiful. Let's add another island here maybe. Okay, and we can grab some of these buildings that we didn't use. Why not? Let's use them here. Yeah, you know, just we are just making a small interesting level and static. It's okay. Let's make it a little bit bigger, something like that. Let's hide this collider so we can see what we are doing. Adjust it here. Let's add another one. For example, let's add it here. You know, just making, just building a game. Okay. Let's make 160. Enable colliders. Let's make the collider invisible. Let's rotate it something like this, for example. Move it around here. Yeah, it's good. And we can also grab this, if I can locate it, this treasure chest, and move it here. So like the ultimate goal of the game, to find the treasure. Okay, very unique. So let's rotate it like this, and you see we have this nice chest. And now let's add an NPC and see how we can create a logic for a basic NPC. So let me save this change a little bit. So let's import an NPC like we did with any other model. Import. Okay, let's go to captain, and let's import our captain. And our captain is there. Let's move him here, and we are going to animate together this to give some logic to this captain. Again, these models are from Quaternius, so kudos to him. Very nice captain. He's missing an arm and a leg. It's okay. It's good for its purpose. So we have imported this model. What can we do with it? First of all, let's give some physical properties to it. The captain should be able to move. and so we will make him kinematic, and of course not a box. Let's choose a capsule, which is by my opinion the best shape for NPCs. Okay, let's move like that for a while, and let's see now. We can also add a variable for this character. So let's go to the variables tab like we did before, and let's add a variable, a number variable, and let's call this health, because our captain also want to have health. Let's make this 100 as well. Okay. So of course this is just a model. We need to import animations for the captain also. The captain also has its own armature and its own rig with the bones. Okay, so it's exactly the same method we did, the same thing we did with our main character. And let's go to animation mode, since we deal with animations, and let's right click and import animations. And now we are going to import the captain's animations. Death, for example. Okay, our captain is dead. Let's import animations. Idle, I will just add a few of them. So idle, we want to play forever, so to play in loop, excuse me, so we enable the loop, and I will understand why in a few. So let's add also the run, and we want to play in loop also, and let's import the slash so the captain can attack, and let's enable the loop also, and let's import I have imported everything that I need, so we don't need to import anything else. Okay, so these are the animations. And first of all, before doing anything else, we want to create a logic that we will make our character, the captain, the pirate, to track the player, so to always face the player, because he has his eyes on the player. Okay, so how we can do this? We can go to animation mode, we can go to the captain and create an animation. Okay, create an animation, and let's rename this animation to be easier to find it. And this animation should be called anything you like, but I will call it tracking player. Okay, let's track the player. How we can track the player now? First of all, let's import our captain to the timeline like we did before. Okay, but for this example, let me save it real quick. For this example, we are going to use a local variable. If you remember, I told you that we will check this in a little bit, so we will check this now. And local variable, we need to give a name, something like angle, for example. Okay, it doesn't matter, the name doesn't matter. But the difference is that this local variable will play, we can call it only inside this animation. We can not call it outside this animation. And so you might ask why you didn't create a global variable, because we don't need. This is easier to call, we only need it in here, so this is very convenient, instead of calling it from a global variable. And what we are going to type here, so this by default is 0, is another function that's called get. So you see all these get functions. Angle, because we want to find the angle between two objects in the y-axis. So get angle to object y. This is what we want. And to make this function work, we need to find the angle between two objects. Okay, so the first object is $sign again, captain. Okay, and we type comma and $sign, and now is the second object that we want to track, so main character, and we hit comma and 360, which is the limit of how our the limit of the degrees that our character can target. But for now, let's say that you need to type 360. Okay, so this is now this angle, this variable now contains this information, contains the difference in the angle between this object and this object, and we want to take our character, our captain, excuse me, and add the rotation Y keyframe. Okay, and we want to turn this character from what it is looking now to look the player. So we just here we are going to delete this. We are going to delete this origin. Okay, and we just type angle. So let me. Okay, so yes, this is just a small bug. So here, yes, angle. Okay, so you see now our local variable is here. Okay, so angle is with yellow colors, just to know that this is a local variable, and we hit enter. And we want this animation to play in loop. Okay, we don't need second keyframe. And we go to triggers tab, and we want this animation to play as soon as our character is enabled. If our character is not enabled, we don't want this animation, this tracking to happen. We want only to happen when this character is enabled. So we go to object enabled continue, and we add our captain. Okay, let's save. And now if we try to play the game, you will see that our character is facing, our captain is facing the character everywhere. Okay, so he's ready to fight. So the second thing that we need to do now is to create another animation to move this captain towards the player. Okay, so let's create another animation. Let's right click in the captain, create animation, and let's rename this to something like to moving towards player. Okay, and again we are going to create the same variable. Let's call this variable angle again. Again we are going to use the same function, get angle to the character Y, and again we are going to do this to add the two objects, captain and main character, comma 360. Okay, let me save this real quick, and we add our captain again, and now we want to move this character in X axis and Z axis, so we can find the player. Okay, so we are going to import position X and position Z, and let's go around here 0.5, and now we are going to add origin. Okay, plus, and now it's a little bit of maths and trigonometry, and we will add this. Let's open this. Now we will add this cosine. Okay, it's a little bit of trigonometry, and we are going to add the angle. Yeah, it's this little bug that we need to. Let me do it again. This angle. Okay, now our variable is here, angle, and we want to multiply this with p and divide it by 180, and like this we have converted our angle from degrees to radians. Okay, it's just trigonometry, and now we need to multiply this by the speed of our character. Like right now our character doesn't have any speed, but we could create a variable with speed, but we can just multiply this by a number that we believe it's right speed, walking speed, I mean. Let's type 0.1.2. Okay, just a number. that we want the character to walk, the walking speed. And we do the same, almost the same for the position Z. So let's type origin and subtract this time sine instead of cosine, and we add the angle again, and we convert this to radians. So P 100, and multiply this again with the captain's speed, the walking speed. So let's make 0.2. Okay, and we loop this. It's just trigonometry to locate this position compared to the angle of the captain. And just for demonstration purposes now, I'm going to set this on launch scene. So this animation will play when we start the game. Let me save and let's see what will happen now. So now the character is coming towards me. If I move here, it's coming towards me. And if you want to make a game that the captain is trying to push Annie out of the island, then we have succeeded. You see he's coming here and the captain is trying to push me out of his island. Of course, this is not what we want. We want a little bit a more advanced NPC. So like we did with the door before, we are going to create a state machine. This time the state machine will be just a little bit more advanced, not a lot, just a little bit. So let's name this captain state machine, and we double click. Okay, so like we did with the door before, let's try to think what are the states that our captain should have. This is the initial state. Let's make it blue, and the initial state, let's say that at the start of the game our captain should be on idle state, should be idle. Okay, what else can our captain do? It can follow the player, so let's type following. Okay, names doesn't matter. And what else our captain can do? It can attack the player. Okay, attack. And what else our character can do? It can die. So let's death and move it like here. And maybe let's add some colors and like that and like that. Okay, like we did exactly like we did with the door. Let's connect this here by clicking and dragging. So from idle, our character should be able to follow the character, and when it's close enough, should be attack the player. And if you click around here in the middle and drag, we create a small point just to make things easier. And when the captain attacks, it should be able to go back to following the player. And let's make it like that, and it should be able to go back to idle state. And now here comes the end state. So it doesn't matter at what state our captain will be. If the rules that the captain dies are valid, the captain should die. It doesn't matter in which state we are. If the captain's health is 0, the captain should die. So from any state we connect to the death. Okay, because this we want to start from any state, and this is the easier to set also. So let's set the rules here. As I said before, if the character's health is 0, the character should be in death state. So let's go to comparison. We compare comparison started, and right now we will choose less or equal. Okay, so let's insert our variable here. So $sign again. We are referring to the captain, and we are referring to the captain's health. So let's find health and put it in here. Okay, and we want the captain to die when his health is equal or below 0. So let's make this 0. Okay, and this is done. Okay, we have successfully created this connection. let me save really quick. And now we are going to add 2 colliders to the captain to help us continue with the logic. Let's add a collider from this area, and let's move this collider a little bit up. We want to be ghost because we want our character to be able to pass through, but we want to have collision events from it. So let's make this a cylinder, and we can make this a little bit bigger like this. And now we can make this cylinder a little bigger, but not big, too big, but just what we think that is the range that our captain could attack, so about the range of his sword. Okay, so make it like this, and we should rename this into near. Okay, because this is the collider that when our player is near, the captain can attack. And let's duplicate this. So duplicate. Okay, this is the near, and we are going to rename this far. And let's make this far a little bit bigger, something like that. Okay, because this is the area that our captain should follow the player, the character. Okay, this is the area that the captain can follow the player. So that's why we renamed this far. Let's open the captain state machine again, and now we will set this logic. Okay, now it will make more sense that we have this here. So our captain is on idle state. He is on idle. When do we want to start following the player? We want to start following the player when our character steps inside this far collider, this far range. So let's click here and let's define these rules. So when we have a collision event started between our main character and this far collider. So let's go and let's set far. Okay, so now our character is inside this far collider, and we need to define the rules that the captain will start attacking. So when we want our captain to start attacking, when the character is colliding with this near. Okay, so to jump from the falling to attack, we click here to define these rules, and again a collision started event between our main character and this time near. Okay, so the captain is on idle, the character steps in this far collider, the game jumps to falling, the character gets close enough, and the game jumps to attack. So now we are on the attack state. And when do we want our captain to stop attacking the player? When our character is outside of this near collider. So we click on here and go collision, and this time we will choose collision ended between our main character and our near collider. Okay, and just to cover all these options that something might happen, etc., let's duplicate this, and let's also cover the possibility of there is no collision. Okay, it's just a good practice. And we are going to do the same for now. Our captain is following the player, but we want to stop following the player. So, and the captain goes back to idle state. So when this is going to happen, when our character is outside this far area. So let's go here and let's add a collision ended event between our main character and this far area. Okay, and duplicate again, and collision, no collision, just to cover all the possibilities. Okay, so right now, let me save this. This is the end of this state machine. We have our logic ready. Of course, nothing works yet because we didn't make the connection with the animations. Okay, let me close this for a second. So if we wanted to make this connection with the animations like we did with the door, we would normally go inside each animation individually, and we set the rules here. Okay, but this can cause a huge mess, especially if you're working with big animations or complicated logic. So that's why we have created this tool that called Gameflow. Okay, and we will show now a little bit about the Gameflow. Let's add Gameflow first in our Captain, and let's rename this to something like Captain Gameflow. Okay, and what Gameflow is a tool that you can create entire game logic without even adding any object in the game. It's a visual way to see this logic, okay, like a node editor, and it's easier like this because every animation is inside here, and the things are more organized and more clean, and you can open someone else's creation and see the game flow, and it's easier to follow the logic. What this game flow can have inside. So we can have other game flows, so we can have a game flow inside another game flow. We can have state machine, like the captains. We can have animation, we can have external triggers, we can have comments, or we can enable or disable the game flow itself. So let me pin this to my window by clicking this pin, and let me open the captain's state machine again. So with the state machine, the game flow is the best way right now in Manu to create more advanced logic. And we will create this together now, and you will see how easy and clean it is, instead of going inside every animation and adding a rule there. First of all, let's insert this captain state machine to the game flow. Okay, we click here, state machine, and we click here, and we can create new, which we don't want this. That's why I said you can create even before have any object in the game. But now we have, so let's add an existing state machine, and we are going to choose captain's state machine. The same thing we could do with the door, but just wanted to show you first the state machine for the door, and go then to a little bit more advanced stuff. So now you can see exactly the same states with the state machine. Here we have idle, falling, attack, death. This is exactly the same. It's nothing different. Idle, falling, death, and attack. Okay, let me save this a little quick. And how we link these animations now to the logic that we built. Okay, let's import. Click on the animation, and let's import the captain's animations here. So click here, add existing animation. Go to captain, and let's import the slash. The slash is the attack, and let's add all the rest. So run, add existing animation, idle, add existing animation. You see it's really easy. Death, add existing animation, and we are not going to add the tracking player because I have already added a rule in there. So let's just add the moving towards player. Okay. So these are the animations. So how we build this logic now. Let's start with the easier one, which is the death. Let's move this around. Okay, and let's make the death also a different color, like red. And let's to connect this, we go here. You see this little arrow when we hover, and we can click it and drag it, and we can connect it anywhere we want. Okay, like a node editor. So let's place it here, and now we have these three options. So let me click when starts first, and I will explain why. So when these the game starts, oh, I said wrong. Okay, these need to be in death, not to attack. So let's drag from here to death. Okay, when starts. So when the game starts this state, we want to start this animation. So this is how you link the logic to animations. Now for the idle, you see this little loop icon here, and this means that this animation is running in loop. Let me make this blue. Running in loop means that this animation will play in loop until we manually stop it somehow. That's why when we connect this idle state with this idle animation, we want to set it to while continuous, and I will explain why now. So as soon this idle state is continuously running, this idle FBX animation will continue playing loop. Okay, that's why we said continue here and not just start it, because if I said to just start it, there wouldn't be any way to stop this. We would have to stop it manually. How? But right now we don't have to stop it manually, but it stops automatically from this state. And let's connect the attack with the attack. Again, this is looping, so it's good to set it to while continuous. Okay, just drag and connect. And now from this following state, I want to make two animations to play while this is continue. So we can drag one here to run while continuous. So this is the running animation for our model of our pirate, and from here we can create another connection to continuous. The moving the captain is moving towards player. Okay, and let me show you this state machine again. So just imagine that we are in the idle state. So our character is in idle state, and as soon he is continuously here, this animation will play in loop, the idle animation. And when we jump in the following state, then two animations will start playing loop, this, and will keep playing until the game jumps to another state. And when the character attack, then this animation will play in loop, and the character will keep attacking as soon the game jumps out of this state. And if the character dies, because it's not looping this, we just need to start this animation and play once, then the game will enable this death animation. So let me save this really quick. Let me close this now, and we can hide this far and near from the edit mode, just to be more clean. And now if you remember, when I set this moving towards player animation, for testing purposes I set a trigger here. So now we need to delete this, because this animation now that the character moves towards player will be triggered from the Gameflow. Okay, so let's see what happens now. The character is on idle animation, idle state, and if the character goes close enough, the captain will start following. So you see it start following, and the following animation is playing. And we can come here, and the captain is following, and if he gets close enough, it starts attacking. Okay, and now we can go a little bit back, and the character start falling again, and start falling again. Okay, so right now the player cannot attack the captain, and the captain causing no damage to the player. Okay, so since this logic is finished now, let's create this health system. This is a very simple, of course, method, and it's very just to understand how things can be set. It's not very advanced, just to see how we can create a very simple combat. Okay, so we go to the slash animation, and slash animation is when the character attacks. You see, when the character attacks, and we can add here our character, our main character. And why we want to add in here our main character? Of course, as I said, this is a very simple solution. It's not optimal, but just to understand the logic. Okay, so when our character goes around here and strikes, mark this is 0.4, then we want something to happen not to our main character, but I import it here because if we click this plus icon, now we have access to the variables of our character. Okay, so we want to import the health, we want to move it to 0.4, and origin now of course means the current, not position, the current value of our health, which is 100. And we want to subtract a small value here, and let's include another function called random. And what random does is to generate a random number between two values. So let's add random 5, 10. So right now this captain will generate a random number between 5 and 10, for example 8, and we will subtract this 8 from our current character's health. Okay, because the health is in this variable. So this will happen as soon the character attacks. Okay, let's save it. And now we need to do the same with our main character. We need to find our attacking animation, but for the main character we will do it a little bit different because our character has a more complicated state machine than the captain's that we just did. So let's find inside the animations, let's find where is it, the slash animation, and you see our character around here, for example. Let me go to start. So around here it strikes. Okay, so let's go to around 0.6 or 7 maybe, and we're going to import our captain now here. Okay, and why the captain? Because we want to have access to his variables. So let's go to variables and let's add health. Let's move it around 0.6, and we'll do the same. Current health, subtract a small value of random. Let's make this random also. Let's make the character deals a little bit more damage, like 10.20. Okay. And this is the animation. Now this animation doesn't have any triggers. Okay. And as I said before, this is more advanced state machine, so we need to sneak a little bit in more advanced stuff here. So let's go to idle. Remember, this is not the model animation, this is the state animation. Okay, and it plays when our character is on idle, and I'm going to duplicate this. Okay, it's the same again, and I'm going to rename this to attack, and we'll go here and we delete now here. Okay, because this is from the idle, and we are going to import a new animation, and we are going to import our slash. Okay, animation is add an animation, but the difference is that this is a copy of the idle. And so if you go here, you will see this that you didn't or looked very confusing at the start, but now it's a little bit more clear. Because now this animation plays when our character is continuously on idle state, excuse me, and on active state of this state machine, and this is a network event, but we don't care about that. But we want an extra rule to trigger this event, so we're going here to add key collision pressed, and we'll make this end because we want all these to be valid and to have our alt key pressed. And we're going to add another rule and the collision event, collision continue, and we want our character to constantly collide with our captain's near collider. So if you remember, the near is this small cylinder. So as soon as our character is on idle state and it's active, and this network that it doesn't matter for now, and we hit the Alt key, we have the Alt key pressed, and the character collides with the near collider, then this animation will run. Okay, this is what we did here. But now we have a duplication of that idle animation, and we have these same rules like here. So in this case, we need to prevent this idle animation from running when this animation plays. Okay, so both of them shouldn't play at the same time. So we go to idle animation and we click on animation continue. Okay, and we make this end, right click and add node. The animation we are referring to is the inside the animation for states attack. So let me explain now what's happening. So this idle animation will play as soon the character is on idle state and it's active and this network thing, but not when this attack animation is playing. And this attack animation will play as soon the character is on idle and active and this network thing, and we have the Alt key pressed and the character collides with near. Okay, let me save this right now. So we have created a death for our captain, if you remember from the state machine, and we need to create a death for our character because the default character doesn't contain any death. So inside this animation for states, let's create another animation, and we will call this rename death. Okay, let's not call it yet. And what we are going to import in here is our main character. So let's import our main character. And what we want to happen when this character dies. Okay, also we need to import the death animation. If you remember, in here we have this death animation from Annie. Okay, so we need to import this in death animation also. So let's go here, add insert animation, click here, let's import the Annie's death animation. This is the model animation. Okay, so what else we want this to happen? We want to disable this character. So we go enabled, we want to disable it. So no any physics event, collision event happens, we cannot control the character anymore, and we just play this death animation. Okay, and how we are going to trigger this, it's exactly how we did with the captain. We are going to create a comparison event started, less or equal, and let's type here $, and main character variables health. So we have just included the health of our main character here, and when this becomes less or equal with 0, so when our character health becomes less or equal with 0, this animation will be triggered. So let me save this, and because this is our main protagonist, we want to respawn. Okay, so let's create a respawn animation. Create animation. Let's call this respawn. Okay, respawn, and we are going to add our main character again. Not this, the main character. This, the main character. Add to timeline, and we need to move him to a checkpoint somewhere. Okay. Except if we want to respawn him right where she died, but let's move here to a different spot, to something like a checkpoint. Okay, so let's go here and let's add property of position X, because we need to move here somewhere, position Y and position Z. Okay, and let's define this. Right now origin means current position, so when the character dies it will spawn there. We don't want this, but we want to get global position like we did before with the crystal, get global position X. Okay, and we want to move this character to a different object. this different object is $sign. Let's type here entrance. Okay, gate entrance, and hit enter. And let's do the same here. Get global position Y, and let's hit this, and let's find the entrance. And like before, let's go here, let's get global position Z, and let's find the entrance. You see why naming is important? Okay, because it's easier to search it instead of searching it manually. So the entrance, if you don't remember, the entrance is here, so we will spawn our character here after she dies. And of course we need to enable our character again so we can play. Okay, and if we try to play now, we'll see that I hit the Alt button but nothing happens. And if I go here, I can fight, and if I stop, now I cannot, but now I can. But we don't see this health information anywhere. Let's let the captain kill me for a second. Let's see if the respawn works. And the respawn didn't work. Okay, and I know why. Let's go to animations, because if you figure it out yourself, great. I forgot it because we didn't set a trigger to this animation. Okay, so this respawn animation should happen when an animation stop. So when an animation stop, this animation will start. This respawn animation will start, and the animation we are referring to is the death animation. Okay, so let's go death, and so when the death animation is finished, we want the character to respawn. Let's check this really quick, and until we check this, I will tell you about how to display this health information now with a very simple way. Okay, what we do is very simple. So now she dies, and we go back here, and the door is locked. Let's collect this, and we go back to battle. Okay. Oh, we cannot. Oh, we can. Okay. So how to display this health information now, like we did with the numbers and the camera? We are going to create something similar. Let's add a simple plane inside the captain, and let's move it above his head a little bit like this. Let's create a material, new material. Let's name it health. Okay, let's disable the shadows, and let's make this basic, and let's import a texture. This is the texture that we want to, and this texture is special because the half is full and the half is empty. So if you guess it, we need to make this cover the entire area, so we are going to do this 0.5. okay, and now we have only the half the half of it. And if we move the offset, we see now we make a visual effect of the captain losing health. Okay, and so we are going to link this information with the captain's health information. All right, let's make this a little bit better size, so something that fits. No, let's make it back to 100 because I forgot to disable this. So let's make it 25, and now let's enable it, and let's make it smaller, something like this. And we can also so we can also rotate it like this, so it is above the captain's health. Okay, let's rename this health bar, and we are going to create an animation for it. Let's right click, create animation, rename, let's make it tracking captain's health or something like that. We are going to import the health bar inside here. Okay, and now what we want to do is to link this information of the captain's health to this texture offset. So we want to animate the texture, so texture offset V, okay, and we are going to type something like just a mathematical function that we convert the 100 of the health to this texture offset. Okay, so let's type 0.5 and we subtract these characters health variables health, okay, and we multiply this by 0.5. If you don't understand, it's okay, just a method that we convert the 100 health of the character to this max offset, that is 1, okay, and because it is the half of it, we use the half of it, we subtract this from 0.5. Pretty much this is what this type means, okay. And because we are tracking this all the time, so we click here this loop, okay, and maybe we can make it so when our character is continuously enabled, so we track this when the character is continuously enabled, okay. Let's save and let's copy this and do the same for our character. Let's go to edit mode and duplicate, and let's take this second health and move it inside our character, something like that, here inside our model, okay, oh, not the model, the character, it's okay. Where is this health now? This health bar, okay, now here, and let's move it to the character. So now the health bar is here. Let's move it above here, head. And because we see our character from behind, let's just turn this like this, minus 100. Okay, so now it's like this, so we can watch it. Of course, this should track the player's health and not the captain's health. Okay, so a very easy way to make this change is just to click on this captain and choose a different model, a different object. As soon as the new object has the same health variable, Manu should be able to locate the health variable and just replace it. Okay, if it doesn't, then you need to delete this and just add the new variable here. But if health is here and health is the variable of the captain, should be automatically changed. Okay, and of course we need to run this, for example, as soon as our main character is on. So let's play this. You see this is the health of the character, this is the health of the captain, and when the captain attacks, you see a small the texture moves down, okay, because this is linked. Now if I let it in purpose, you see the character dies, and now our health is still 0. And to fix this, we need to make small changes inside the respawn, okay, the respawn of our character, and we can add the health bar. No, actually we don't need to add this. We just need to make the variable of the character 100% again. Okay, let's make this 100%, and now we should be okay. Let's see if it worked now. So when the character responds, this health bar will be back to 100. Okay, so like this. Okay, and if we kill the character instead, you see we are also causing damage to him. Let's see what will happen if the captain dies, and you see now it's dead, but it's still tracking us. And you know why? because in the death animation of the character, we didn't disable the character after its death, his death. So let's go to the death animation of the character, and let's set some stuff also. Let's disable some stuff. Okay, we should disable the captain, and you know, this is some stuff that it's very easy to forget or get confused, and we show here how we can debug these mistakes. So let's disable the character, the captain itself, excuse me. We should also disable the far and the near colliders. So let's add these to the timeline. You see, we can add as many as we want. Let's disable this and off, and let's disable this and off, and let me save this really quick. And we should also disable the health bar. We don't want to see the health bar anymore. Enabled. No. You know what? Let's add something even more, just for the purpose of the game. Let's create an animation here for this chest, and let's rename this something like goal. Okay. Anything. And let's put the chest top in here. This is the top of the chest, and let's animate this in rotation Z from what it is to origin plus 90. Let's see how this, oh, it's the opposite direction. Okay, let's make this minus. All right. Let's add some interpolation here, you know, the same stuff that we did before. And we want this animation to play when an animation stops. Okay, and this animation is the death of the captain. All right. So let's try this again, and we come here and we let's try to kill the captain, and if we succeed, this chest top should be open. Oh, we have died. It's okay. So if you want, for example, to make the captain's health to reset, we could just add this to the animation and set our captain's health back to 100. And so we have achieved this journey, and we located this treasure. Okay, and I believe this is the end of this level. Of course, we can make it more beautiful. We can make it more advanced. For example, more advanced platforms, moving platforms. I don't know if we have time to show something more. What do you think? Would you like to show a little bit of the paint group? If Chad wants to see this paint group, we can also show a little bit about that. What do you think?
We actually do have an idea. Nikki, please go on. That idea. Sorry for interrupting.
Yes. Go on, please.
I think that we have to break. We have to have a break because I think you are also tired. But the first, we have a lot of questions from our users. If they also can ask me and Chris and Alexandra about to continue our stream, we will make the second part. So he will be explaining everything else. So I think that we have to start to ask you questions.
Yeah, of course. This is better like
and
this.
don't forget the project, Chris.
One more thing. Sorry for that again. I'm doing this constantly. Sorry, guys. So what about trying to publish the game on our marketplace? To give everyone a hint on how it can be done, and probably publishing one asset and the entire game to the marketplace. Just
Yeah,
to,
yeah, of course.
like-
Let's do this now. So
Of course,
let's say we want to publish this this crystal that we made. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is to convert this to a prefab. So right click this and create prefab. And now this crystal is converted to a prefab. You can tell from this blue icon. Okay, what prefab means? Prefab means that we can have copies of this object and we can upload it to our marketplace. So where is this prefab located? It is located inside this asset browser that I told you before, and you will see it's already in there, and we can add for example a picture, anything. Let's say we'll want to add something like that, and type this is collectible, something like this. Okay, and we just hit export asset. Okay, so now Manu asked us about this code, and to find this code, let me open my browser really quick. So let's tab this. No, 1 second, please. Let's make this not full screen, and let's take this back, and let me open my browser, for example. Let's type here Manu.org. Okay, something like yes, something like this. And so in here, it asks me to log in now. 1 second, please. Let me open a new tab. Let's move this here. You know, in real time, we're doing it in real time. So let's go to the marketplace here that I'm actually logged. So we can go to our profile, go to our assets, and click here create new asset, and we can load the same image. For example, let's add something. This is pretty random now. Okay, just adding stuff. And let's type a description, collectible, for example, and we can add a category here, like this is a prop. Okay.
Chris, we don't hear you right now. Can you tell us something?
Hello? You cannot hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, chat says that you can hear me, but you cannot.
We can hear you right now. Everything's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just maybe a little glitch. So we can add also a description here, something like collectible. Okay, and we take this generated code and we copy it. Okay, we go back to Manu. Back to prefabs, back to here, and we export, and we place this code here and click export, and now it should be in the site. Okay, it's done from Manu. We're done here, and here it's already in there. You see, you can publish it, and if you try now to go to these assets, for example, you should be able to see it here. Of course, the image is just something that doesn't fit. Okay, this is how we can export an asset. Now, how can we export the game itself? So to export the game itself, let me save this really quick, and we go file, and we can either export it to disk or export to the game store. Okay. Let's export the game store. The procedure is exactly the same, but instead of pasting the code that we have generated before, we need to go to our account and to go to games. Okay, create a new game, and the procedure is just exactly the same. I don't know if you want me to, because this might take a little bit. But the procedure is exactly the same. Just give a name for our game, click on copy the code, Okay, and pasting it here and exporting. Okay, just I'm not doing it because it will destroy the quality of the stream because we are going to upload. Okay, I don't know, any other questions?
So to be honest, we have a lot of questions.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, sure, one by one.
Is it possible to export the video game for the Windows system in full screen? Would it be possible to create a video and sound configuration menu?
I don't think I understand the question very well. What do you mean export the video? We cannot.
A video game for the system Windows in full screen. Would it be possible to create a video and sound configuration menu?
Like create a video inside Manu? What I don't understand what the user means. If
It means just a game. Just video game is the same a game.
oh, video game, you mean? Okay. Can you repeat? Yeah. Can you repeat the question again because I didn't hear the game?
Okay, don't worry. Yes.
Yeah.
Is it possible to export a video game for the Windows system in full screen? Would it be possible to create a video and sound configuration menu?
Configuration. Okay. Right now we don't have a fully ready user interface, so the export is kind of limited. So when we export a game, you will see a little launcher and the game exports as it is without many configurations. But the team is focusing on that, and you will see in the next, not in the next update, but in the future updates, something that we will have a more advanced user interface, and probably we will have a more, we could customize more feature and in the exported game. I hope this is what the user asked. If not, please clarify it. But I believe this is what the user asked. Okay, next question.
Okay, is it possible to create a hack and slash video game with Manu similar to Destiny Warriors or Samurai Warriors? I would like a tutorial on this genre, please.
Yes, of course it's possible. Not maybe in this stage the quality of these games, but for example, if let me show you, because this is what I'm good at, not talking. Let me show you, for example, here if I go to the captain and make his health something very low, something like 10. Okay, so now and make copies of this, a lot copies excuse me, of this character. Now we have a hack and slash that we kill one enemy, the next enemy comes, and instead of using this attack animation, we could have a magic animation. So this is, of course, this is the very basic form of it. Now with better models and with better animations, of course we can make something a little bit better. But don't forget, this is beta. The engine, it keeps getting better and better. And in the future, it will be possible, of course, to create such of these games, like I show you here. So yes, next question, please.
Is there Xbox controller support?
No, it is not in this phase, but I believe it will be, most of these will be supported in the future versions. Already we are planning to integrate mouse events, so click and stuff like that, and a better interface, as I said. So I believe, I don't know for sure, but I believe this is the the way that Manu is focusing right now to support, to have full support for everything related with the games like PlayStation or a PlayStation controller, I mean, or Xbox controller, or a controller in general. Okay, so yes.
Yeah, we already had these kind of plans in our future updates. So just follow our social media pages, and you will know the first one. So the next, does Manu have terrain system like Unity to create landscape with trees, grass, vegetation, and others?
Yes, of course. If we had a little more time, we could import, or maybe I can do it this while explaining this. We can have, right now we don't have a terrain generator, but we can have a tool like, let me load this really quick, a tool like the paint group that I told you before. Okay, and this tool, let me load this plants maybe. Okay, and what this tool does is to create foliage and generation of plants and create instances of these. And so I believe, yes, already have this somehow this feature, not 100% what the user means, but of course we can add, for example, let's see, some grass, and now we can have this foliage or grass, okay, in our game. Now if the user means random, so random generation of the terrain and the foliage, I don't know about this, but the tool for creating foliage and instances, plants and trees, etc., and populate our level with this, it's already here. So in what scale we are going to improve this, I don't know yet. Okay, next.
Is it possible to create a car racing simulation video game in Manu similar to Gran Turismo or Need for Speed? Something like that.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
At this stage, I would say it's not possible. Or it's not possible the way these games are made. And the main reason for this is because our main character is very limited right now. Although we can do a lot of stuff when this character is a humanoid or a simple model, but we don't have yet very complex logic and physics. So like we make the character slide or manipulate their speed from animations. But the team is doing great work to improve this character, and then near future you will see a more customizable character. And I believe in the near future we should be able to talk about at least some basic form of racing games. But yeah, some with some tricks we can make something very simple, but not in the form of this. But in the future we should be able to do it, I believe. Okay,
I
next.
also agree with you, and we will think about it also. So the next one, trigger also counts the controller support. It's a question.
The question is that if we can create.
Trigger also counts the controller support.
So it's making some cuts to the voice, and I cannot hear the question very well. So the user asks about if we can use triggers to control something, but I didn't understand exactly what is the question. Can you repeat, please?
Trigger also counts for controller support. It sounds like this. So it means that can it how to explain? Alex, can you help us to explain?
Yeah, I will try. I will try.
please.
So
Yes,
I
please.
think I think that the user asks whether the trigger can also
Controls,
I'm
yes.
repeating myself. Counts for controller support. So if you need to support the controller for the game, like an Xbox controller or PS4 or anything like that.
Okay.
I believe the question is whether you can use the trigger system to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we do with the keyboard right now, so we have a key event. I believe when the controller will be supported, in the engine, we should be able the same exactly functionality like this. So instead of press a key to do something, to trigger something, it will be press X in the controller, or press up arrow or something like this. When the controller will be supported, it should be like this, I believe. And I believe this is the right answer to the right question.
Okay.
I don't know. Yes. Let's go. The next.
Will be there twinning or twinning back to first frame on loop?
To first frame. What do you mean? Can you repeat, please?
Will it be back to the first frame on loop? Will be there
Okay.
twinning and twinning back.
Okay, the user asks something about the first frame of the animation, when this animation is in loop, if I understand correct. Let's see what the user means. So the user asks if, for example, when we go back to the start, can you repeat the second part of the question, please?
Will be there twinning and twinning back to the first frame on loop.
Twinning back. It's very difficult because English is not my first language. It's very difficult to understand what the user means here. But
I think.
yes.
Sorry again, jumping in as usual. I think the question might be about the opportunity to quickly move between the frames. Like, in every sequence you have the shortcuts to go through the entire long sequence. Maybe it's about that.
Also,
Maybe not.
I will. Let's see if I can understand right. So the user might means if we can manually trigger this time to start from here, for example, and not from here. I believe this is what he means. What they means. Right now it's not. This is not possible somehow, but I don't really see a reason why we should do this. Maybe. The user has something different in his mind, and what they got in their mind might be we can do this with a different way, not with a looping. But I'm not sure what they want to achieve in the animation, so I can give a better answer for this. So if the user, yes.
Sorry, I think that we can, if we do not understand properly the question, I'm addressing the viewers. Guys, if someone who asked the question is still there, please repeat what you meant. And if you are not here with us, I believe we could try after the stream, connect to you on YouTube or maybe on Discord and try to understand what exactly did you mean and answer you on Discord. So please, if you are here, just give us a hint on what you meant. And if you are not, we will try to get back to you after the stream. So the question does not stay unanswered, but we get more details into that.
Yeah,
Also,
of course.
you can write your questions in Discord for us. You can repeat it and explain more in Discord channel. So we will try to help you and to share you more details if you can and if we can.
Yeah, we always be in Discord, so any answer that, any question that is unanswered, feel free to ask there and we will help you in more details, maybe with a video or some image. Okay, so next question, please.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
How can I make enemies come out of a project, for example, a box? The idea is to have enemy reinforcements come out of the box again and again. Explaining. As a player eliminates the enemies, they will appear new from the box. The conditions for no more enemies to come out of the box will be to destroy the box itself.
Yeah, I believe the user means to create something like a tower defense game, so enemies will keep spawning and spawning and spawning again, so we'll go out of the box, and if every enemy go out of the box will be destroyed, so something like this. Yes, of course it is possible, I cannot show it now, but we can just show you how it can be done. Of course need a little more planning, so I can just, let me save this very quick, and I can just duplicate this this captain, for example, and now we have two captains. Okay, the user means something like this, and the logic is exactly the same, but we can make this captain be hidden for now. For example, we can go inside his mesh and just disable his mesh. Okay, and now the captain is not there. His sword is, but yeah, you know the logic. And when this captain dies, we set it like we open this chest, but we can make it that when this captain dies, a new captain will spawn. And so since this captain will be dead, we can move it while he was invisible. We can move it back to the box, and we can spawn him again when the second captain dies. So this is a very simple solution how we might be able to do this, but of course we can do it. Okay, it is possible for sure. Okay, next question, please.
Alex, do you know more questions? Can you read us?
Yeah, I can.
think-
Sorry, I was. Yeah. My microphone was off. So actually, I have a question from myself to Chris. Are you tired, or can you go through a couple of questions more, or we should switch to answering them on Discord, or what is your state right now? How are you?
Yeah, you know, I do this all the time, so not very tired, but if there are a few questions more, we can answer them. If there are like a lot and very technical and difficult, it's better to skip and move forward. So I don't know how many questions there are, so let me know.
There is quite a bunch, but let me just try to answer some of them myself for you, just to breathe in and out.
Yeah.
Great, yeah.
Yeah. So there are lots of questions, almost the same, about the export opportunities of Manu. Right now, we do have export for PC, for macOS, and for our own marketplace. In the future releases, which are really close, we will have the opportunity to export the games to iOS, Android, Steam, the one which is so anticipated by everyone. And in future releases after them, we believe we will have PS4, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and other platforms. So the idea is like that. All this info you can... I'm not trying to get rid of those questions, but... all this info is constantly updated on our website on the roadmap section. So yeah, you can address that. And thank you guys for your comments about what we have to focus on, because your comments really align with our vision about the mobile platforms and so on and so on, because it's really necessary to focus on for indie developers to achieve their goals. There was also, it was not quite a question, but a comment on the pricing model. So when the the indie community will get to Manu at the moment when they will know the pricing. So right now we are not able to like name and tell you all the details on pricing, because we are still in beta and we are deciding. What we know for sure are two things at least. One is that we understand that our audience is indie, so we have to keep the prices low, because you know why? Because it's indie audience. And the second thing, there will always be freemium. It will have probably limited opportunities feature-wise, but still you will be able to create games and to export them at least at our marketplace. So it's not a, you know, how they say, it's not an offer, but it's some platform, some basis we have right now. So it will change. Maybe it will change, but not the freemium part. And we will update you constantly. But that's what we have now from this perspective, because we're still deep in beta. But it will change. I mean, the beta state. So yes, I believe those were like lots of questions answered in one take. Another one I can answer myself. Would it be possible to buy and sell assets in Manu store? Yes, it will. Again, not right now, but in the nearest future we will add this opportunity to do so. So you will be able to monetize from that. Yeah, I believe with that my part is over. I mean, all other questions are those that I cannot answer. So what I suggest is, Chris, I can read to you like those which are left at this point, and you decide whether you can show something, can comment on that, and which questions we will leave to Discord. We will definitely answer all the questions, but probably not right away, because it's been 3.5 hours talking. I can't even imagine.
I believe you are very, very tired and exhausted.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna play a game after that because you know, we don't only create games, we are playing them. Okay, so yeah, let's have some more questions and we will see. Okay, go on, please.
I will just list all of them, and you pick those which are easy to answer, and those which are not so easy to answer we will leave for Discord. So yeah, it's up to you. So the first one is there a transition from level to level? For example, say go inside a building and outside this building.
So the user is referring to different scenes. This is not possible right now, but it will be in the future for sure. We are planning on it, and it will be for sure. So let's run this a little bit. So next question.
Yeah, sure thing. The second one, I think I will leave it to the next stream. It's quite an interesting thing to show, but it requires time. How to add door sound. So I will keep it for the second stream or something like that.
How to add? I didn't hear the question. How we can add a sound? This is what the user...
to the door. So maybe we should leave it to the second one.
Okay. Let's leave it.
I'm sorry for deciding it myself, but I think it's a nice concept.
No, let's go.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So another one is, here's my question, maybe I missed it, but can I implement a new state machine in my ongoing project? Maybe you can answer this shortly, like yes or no.
What the user means is his own state machine, probably means like we did with a captain, because this is your own state machine. And this pretty much the same state machine is what the character has, but it is hard coded right now. Now, if the user means a custom state machine for the main character, then yes, it's not possible now. It will be in the near future. The character will be much more customizable. So next question, please.
Yeah. How can you put the enemy's name above the life bar? I really like the question, but I believe it's also for the next stream because it requires some work to do right now.
Let's continue. Yes.
Yeah. I can map other keyboard keys to move the character? Question mark.
Yes, this is already answered in my previous answer. So the character will be more customizable. So we should be able in the future to map any keys to move the character. And right now, if you accept, let me just add something. A little something. If you want to create a custom character and not use the default one, then yes, you can already now have your character with custom controls. Something like you add a key and you want to move the character with J. The only difference is that you have to build this animation by your own. But in the future, the character will be more customizable, and this will be easier. So let's go to the next one, please.
Okay. Yeah, the next one I can answer myself. Hey guys, are you open for possible collaborations with other indie game developers? Oh my god, yes. Please, please write us. Please do it wherever it's easy or wherever you like, because we are very open for possible collaborations. So we really admire the works people do with Manu. We understand that with the new beta release, and we heard that a lot, that you needed tutorials from us. I hope this stream really helps, and this is not the last one, and this is not the only one, the only tutorial we are making. So please join us. Any indie studio, any indie developer, we are super happy to collaborate. So please write to us, reach out however you like, email, social media, whatever. We are very happy and super open to it. So please do so. And thank you for asking.
If you are just game enthusiast, and you also can write us. So if you want to do something with Manu, if you create your own project and want to share this to other people and to us, so just write us.
Yes, please do so. We are very happy when people are talking to us, actually. So yeah, please, that's an actual great thing. Okay, another one, and I believe it's the last one, because we had an explanation about the tween, and I believe that in chat, Nikki, please correct me if I'm wrong, that you have discussed all of that. Did you? About the so yeah, you were talking with Mikolai Alexander that if you don't mind, we'll give you a written response in our Discord. Yeah, it really will be easier for us at this point. So yeah, and the last question is it possible to create a fighting video game similar to Tekken, Killer Instinct, Street Fighter, or Mortal Kombat?
Yes, of course, it will be possible. It's even possible right now in basic form. As you saw, we had a very basic combat between the player and the captain, and if we spend a little bit more time, we could make it even more advanced and more complex. So we had more than one attack animation, and we could make a state machine that the captain would take decisions, and for example, if character's health is below 50, use magic, don't use sword. Okay, from this perspective, side scroller like Tekken and more detailed models, yes, it is possible, and we might do something like that just for the demonstration. So yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris. You are my personal hero because talking and
To be honest, it was very, very long stream.
yeah, it is great. And I don't think that you had a chance to look through the chat, but people were saying big thanks to you, and everyone was happy with how detailed is your explanations and how you show everything. So thank you so much. Really, that
Thank
means
you, really. And guys, I have just one moment. If you have any request for the next stream, please let us know. We have a lot of social media pages. We have our own Discord server. So you can write us, you can chat with us, you can do everything to communicate with us, and we will be happy to communicate with you also. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, and please do reach out to us, and we are happy when you share your creations with us, because it's that is why we are doing our job, to tell the truth. So yes, please join us, please talk to us, and I think it's time for us to let Chris rest a little bit.
Let's be free, freedom.
Don't worry.
Yeah, okay, cool. So thank you everyone for joining us today. It was a pleasure meeting all of you and connecting some usernames from Discord to the live stream viewers. It's so nice that you came. So thank you so much, and please come again, and I believe that's it. Thank you.
Okay, and
Thank
I
you.
would like to tell something for the end. I would like to personally thank you everyone for joining, and don't hesitate if you have any questions, just drop it in Discord. We are here to help you. And thank you for the comments also. So if you want to hear one last word, then the stream ends here.
I think that's enough. So guys, have a nice weekend. We will come back with a new stream again, and we will give you the whole information which we have. So have a nice evening, day, depends on your time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.